Okay, we are live. So, hi everybody. This is Angel Arts, and welcome to our third and most likely final open mic hangout for the upcoming game Mass Effect Andromeda.
Hey.
And
Hi.
sorry, basically,
Huzzah!
yeah, yes, thank you. So as you can see, we have several people that are joining us today. For those of you who are watching who don't know what an open mic hangout is on my channel, it's basically an opportunity for you viewers who love a certain game or want to discuss a specific topic to hang out with me and other like-minded individuals, and just spend time just discussing things. So that means that those of you who are watching, if you're watching this live, are indeed invited to participate if you'd like. And if that is the case, please send me a private message. I will try to keep an eye on my inbox with your email address if you have not ever given me your email address before, saying that you're interested in joining the panel. And as seats are available, I will rotate you in. So I'll continually rotate people in and out. So everybody hopefully has an opportunity to come in at least once if you'd like to join in. Obviously, if you are a little shy and don't really feel like participating in the panel physically, you're definitely welcome to listen in. And also, if you want to give some questions or propose topics in the chats, in the YouTube chats, you're very welcome to do so. If you end up putting up a question or a topic in the chats, but for some reason we don't end up seeing it right away because maybe it ended up being updated upwards, feel free to try to post it in the comments of the video itself, because then that will remain firmly where it is and maybe we'll have an easier time seeing that. So before I get to the introductions of everyone, just letting you know that if you want to go into this game completely blind, we are going to be bringing up information that have been coming up in articles. Everything that has been officially released is what we're going to talk about. So if you do not want any of that information, you just want to go into this game without knowing anything, then feel free to either skip this video till a later time or whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, I think that's about it. So let's go ahead and begin by introducing the current panelists. Why don't we start with Carlo? Tell us your name, or at least how you want us to refer to you as, where do you live, and a 15-second or less blurb of how you first got into the Mass Effect franchise. Go ahead, Carlo.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. My name's Carlo. I'm from Brisbane, Australia. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning here. Don't worry, I got some sleep. And I got into the Mass Effect universe through, well, I got into Dragon Age first, and then I was introduced to Mass Effect. I only played a little bit of the trilogy, but because this was like a couple of years after the third game has been released, it hasn't aged very well. So I'm just waiting for Andromeda. So that's going to be my entry point.
Same here.
So that's it for me.
Why don't we go with Mark, since he just said something. Go ahead, Mark.
Alrighty. Just let me turn on the camera here real quick. Well, hello there. My name is Mark31520, or just Mark, since that's my real name. And I'll just get out of my British accent now. I am from the United States, in the state of Oregon. And the 15 second. I was introduced by a friend back in 2011, more importantly, Mass Effect 2. And I was intrigued by it, so I played all 3 games. And just like Carlos said, so I'm just waiting for Andromeda to be released.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. Let's move on to Gentleman Gamer.
Oh, well, howdy there. I am the Gentleman Gamer, but you may call me Devin. I am from Texas, near Houston, in that general area. And I was introduced to Mass Effect. I don't know the exact year, but my friend let me play his copy on his Xbox 360, the first one, and I didn't like it at all. But then I later played the second one, and I loved that one. I played the third one, and I loved that one. So now I eagerly await the series' return.
Thank you. It's great to have you here, Devin. Let's go with Kiwi next.
Hi, I'm Sky, or I prefer to be called Kiwi on the internet, but I'm from Quebec, Canada. It's cold as hell. And I was introduced to Mass Effect back when I started playing Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age Origins. I mean, my best friend was playing Mass Effect 1, and we sort of bonded over that, and she lended me her game, and I ended up liking it even more than she did. So,
Quick question, Kiwi. Is Sky your full name, or is that short for something?
it's my full name.
Okay. The reason why I asked is because my shepherd's name I finally decided upon based on people's suggestions, and I really wanted to call my writer Skylar Ryder.
Nice.
So that was why.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
why I was like, oh, Sky. I wonder if that's short for Skylar. But anyway, cool. And B, I really love your chest spin behind you.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Super cute. Malik, why don't you go next?
Well, as you said, my name is Malik, but I am known as Stark Elthemsby on the internet. And well, I'm from cold Denmark that had snow yesterday, and then it rained, and then it was gone.
Wow.
And yeah.
Lucky.
We mainly just get rain here in Oregon, so
Well, when it comes to Mass Effect, I was introduced to it way back in 2011 when I got Mass Effect 2 for free doing BioWare's good old celebrate the sequels thing way back when. And I played that, and I absolutely loved it. Bought the first game and thought, what is this hot garbage? Oh my god. Because at the time, the controls were like the controls in Mass Effect 2 are just like infinitely better.
Mm-hmm.
We love to hate the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh, so it's not just me.
yeah, it's just gameplay reasons. Story's okay in my opinion, but
yeah.
There are.
There's-
Go ahead, Kiwi.
In my opinion, story's the best in the first one, but the gameplay, yeah.
I still think that the second game is by far the best in the series so far.
agreed.
Andromeda, as far as I've seen, I'm convinced it's going to be a hot garbage, but fun hot garbage at least.
Okay.
Has
So
everyone introduced themselves?
Darkhill, not yet. We have one more person. Darkhill Themsby is very well. I love having Malik here because he is very blatantly honest about his opinions. So
I mean, I will be honest. Surprisingly, their newest video kind of convinced me that it's going to be maybe okay.
okay.
So
Oh yeah.
Everybody's opinions here are perfectly valid. And there are some loyalists to people very loyal to Mass Effect 1 because, yes, the gameplay combat-wise might be a lot clunkier based compared to Mass Effect 2. People felt that out of the three, Mass Effect 1 was the most RPG-like, arguably. I had more RPG
No
elements.
wonder
arguably.
why it was so hard to pick up, because I kept missing a lot on the enemies, and I'm just like, I can't shoot for shit.
For me, it wasn't even that. It was just like the story didn't grab me from the beginning. Like Mass Effect 2, you start off with Shepard dying and being brought back to life. That hooked me instantly.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 1 didn't do that.
yeah, that was kind of also me. Like,
Have we started the debate without introducing me?
No, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I was asking if everyone had gone.
Yes, let's
let's get Shogun out of the way.
Shogun.
Yeah.
Let's get Shogun out of the
Sorry.
way. I love that.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I don't want to be part of this stream anymore. How about that?
Shogun.
bye-bye.
And-
Come on, I was
No.
just joking. Come on.
All right, Shogun, please introduce yourself. Shogun. Okay. Shogun will show up again whenever he wants to.
But
show up.
yeah, Mass Effect 2, the way that introduction, even though you're tossed in with some characters you have no idea who are. Just the fact that you start out with being blasted off into space, like
Yeah.
that shit is like, even though they take it back like a minute later, that shit is cool.
Yeah. Totally agree.
And I'll also say, like, of the series so far, Mass Effect 2 is probably the one that has has had the highest graphical fidelity. I mean, like, I've recently been playing through the trilogy again, and like going from 2 to 3, it's a visual downgrade, and it's odd to me. But at least Andromeda is going to be on the Frostbite engine, so that's going to be beautiful.
Let's go ahead and make sure to shift the focus back to Andromeda.
Yes.
Obviously, if there are things from the trilogy that we want to talk about that relates to Andromeda, please do. Shogun, do you want to introduce yourself real quick, please?
Yeah. Yes.
Go
I wasn't just doing it for dramatic effect. I was also figuring out how the YouTube chat worked. So
that's cool. Go ahead.
Okay.
I feel like Shogun's.
I am the Shogun, and I watch chat always, and they will obey. I am also the chat moderator, so play nice, and I will bring up any ideas you do put in the chat. So fear not, you have a visual eye in this stream. But
and I'm also a moderator as well. So
yes.
Please. So if you have any questions, we'll keep an eye on them.
Yes,
I feel like I should be going and getting my swords now.
I was going to say, I was expecting Shogun about to do something for dramatic effect, and I was right. Okay, so again, if you guys are just tuning in to us, please know that if you are interested in hanging out with us in this chat directly in the panel, there is an open invitation. All you have to do is please send me a private message through YouTube with your email address if you haven't already given it to me, and I will try to add you. I'll try to rotate you in as we go through this discussion. So now that that's all out of the way, the forum is open for any specific topic or question that you want to pose to the panel. Anyone have any specific questions? Otherwise, I'm going to bring up some things if nobody has anything specific at the moment.
Like I said, I came into this blind. So.
Well, let's actually, since the newest video that came out was the combat video, if we disregard the video about Natalie fucking Dormer being in it, okay, let's talk about combat.
Talk about combat. All right.
Because
how many people here, just as a show of hands, have seen the combat trailer that was released a couple? Yeah, okay. All right. A lot of you have. All right.
I saw the video you did about
the reaction to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts on the combat system?
Interesting, in my opinion.
I'm just wondering how I'd manage, because it seems like a lot to get used to.
Can either of you, either Mark or Carlo, elaborate? Can you elaborate on that? What's interesting, or what is it that you're anxious about?
Well, the thing that I find interesting about the combat is because they have some of the elements from the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and it seems like they're going for full-on trying to have the enemies get up on your face, and you need to try to think on the fly, trying to think on your toes. That's what I think makes the combat interesting.
So is it more interesting in a good way for you then?
Actually good and bad, because because I do like to keep myself on my toes, but bad because I might die multiple times.
Carlo, you said you weren't really sure if you'd be able to manage things. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, having played Mass Effect 1, I was I found it very hard to control, and I kept dying multiple times because, well, for one, I couldn't aim for shit. And two, it was very like what everyone said, it was really clunky. But with this being a bit more streamlined, it seemed faster paced. And I'm just wondering, all right, well, how am I going to be able to keep on top of that while I know just being able to aim, so to speak. So it seemed really fast and a lot of it.
Anyone else have anything they want to chime in about?
Definitely feels far more dynamic than before.
In a good way or a bad way?
A good way, but I am very bad at most. I first got into Dragon Age, so I'm more into RPG game styles. So this is going to be interesting. I don't think I'm going to be playing on high difficulty at first.
That would be a majority of us.
I find the idea interesting, like the thing that you can, okay, this is my long range like set. You know, here are the powers I want with that. Here's the abilities with that, and then there's for that one. That one seems fine. It's the other part that seemed like you can practically change class mid battle. That seems weird to me. I agree with you on that part. It seems weird to me.
Yeah, I expressed my opinions on that aspect of being able to change your loadout. Well, not your loadout. There's two things. There's profiles, there's loadout, and then there's the whole idea of class versus no class. So to try to help define, and all of you guys can correct what I mean by this, you can purchase points. You have points and ability points that you can use to purchase powers. You have a limited amount, so you can't just get anything and everything, but you do have the ability to purchase powers based on prerequisites, as long as you have the prerequisites for them, and essentially make any kind of character that you want out of the existing abilities of the classic engineer, adept, soldier classes that we had in the trilogy. Then if you purchase certain ones that apply to a specific theme or class, like there's a sentinel profile, there's a soldier profile, then you get bonuses and benefits based on that. And then
basically you get buffs, I think.
Yeah, you get buffs. And then loadout, what the loadout is, so profiles, I think, and allocating your abilities, I believe you can only do in between missions from what I've read. The loadout, that is what you can change in the middle of combat. So I think during combat, you only have like 3 or 4 abilities available to you based on the abilities you purchased. But you can only have 3 or 4 available at a time, but you can pause the game, change your loadout, and now you have a different set of 3 or 4 abilities depending on what you're trying to do in combat. Does that sound accurate? Does that make sense to everybody?
You got it point by point.
Let's see. You have 3 abilities from what I've
okay.
4.
No, you have 3
abilities. 3 abilities.
Either
you
way,
have 3 abilities, but you can have 4 loadouts. I think it was.
I think that's
favorites. There's a favorites selection. You can choose 4 of the 3 skills that you set, and then you could be able to change them on the fly when the situation needs it.
I think the favorites are the classes, the different classes you can change out, like adept, sentinel.
When you make a favorite set, what you do is you choose your profile. So that's the soldier, adept, and so on, which will give you a buff depending on what abilities you then put into that favorite set. And then you pick 3 abilities along with that. And then when you have your 4 favorites, you can have 4 different profiles with each of their different abilities, which you can then switch out on the fly. Like mechanically, it sounds cool, but within the lore perspective of the bigger Mass Effect series, it's really wonky and weird because suddenly a tech guy is a biotic, which just makes no lore sense at all.
They have a lore explanation for it,
and it's garbage.
What is the lore explanation? What is the garbage lore explanation?
Fans.
Fans?
Sam.
Sam.
Oh, Sam. And okay, so you're saying because of Sam, the writer has the ability to change.
That puts some neural tech in his brain, which allows him to. This is pure speculation, by the way. Okay. So don't take my word for it.
The other explanation. I'm sorry. Did you want to say something, Gentleman Gamer?
I just think now that we're talking about it again, listen to this. It sounds kind of like the multi-classing in D&D. Like you can either choose.
It's like that.
You can either choose to be 100% each of the things, or you can split up and just be like less powerful. Like you never be quite as powerful as a full adept or full soldier, but you'll have like multiple class methods.
It is, but I think the main issue that a lot of people have with this is not the fact that you can choose any ability tree that you want. I think the main complaint that some people have is that the fact that you can change it, like basically respec your character before every mission. That's the part that people have an issue with, because it's fine if you can choose any ability that you want, but the fact that you're not locked into that, like locked into a class, that's what people have a problem with. So one of the explanations that I also heard as to a lore reason why the writer can be able to respec himself is because as an explorer, the whole idea is that you're supposed to be adaptive. You were supposed to be able to adapt to whatever environment or situation you're in, because you're going into a completely new galaxy. There's a lot of unknown mystery. And in order to be effective as an explorer, you have to be able to adapt to the situation. Therefore, being able to change your class between missions is an explanation. I don't know if that's a good enough explanation for other people, but I kind of like that explanation a little bit more than the Sam explanation, personally. Now that we have David here, hi, David.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, David.
Oh, David,
Hello.
would you like to introduce yourself really quickly before we continue on?
Yes, of course. My name is David Anderson, also known as Recluse Yark. I do LPs on the YouTubes, and I love Mass Effect. That's it.
And I love David.
Thank you, Hawk.
I love
you
his,
do, Hawk.
I love his accent even more. But David, we were just talking about combat. Have you seen the combat videos, trailers recently?
Yes,
Do you have any thoughts, either good or bad, about the combat that you've seen so far?
The only thing I want to work is the cover system, because I'm not very much of a mobile player, and there's a lot of mobility in the new combat trailers. I've heard it's gonna be like Mass Effect 1, but a better system. I'm just hoping the cover system will be intact in some way, so I can like stay in cover and be a coward.
What were your thoughts on the ability to respec your character in between missions?
Honestly, not a huge fan. I personally like being locked into a class, just because I like my abilities to really. It feels like my abilities don't matter as much if I get to respec all the time, or is it just like, I don't know if you guys know this, but can you pick like throw, then you can pick like overload and turret and whatever, and you only get access to those abilities that you pick, and not like everyone.
It's based on prerequisites.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't get all the skills like right out of the gates.
Yeah, I assume you have to still follow the tree.
Okay.
Ability tree. Yeah.
Yeah, just you need to place in like points in a certain ability tree, and then you can be able to get those set abilities, but also unlock the profile.
All right.
You can pick your class, but you build your points based on you're an adept. But then you can change it. I'm a sentinel now, so you start leveling up your sentinel. It's like that you can play as the class, but you can change what class you're playing at any time.
Okay.
We have another new person. Jess, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hey everybody. My name is Jessica, but my username on YouTube is KaramasGirl018. And I've been in a few hangouts with Hark and done a little bit of tabletop with him as well.
And where are you from, Jessica?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Jessica, have you also seen any of the recent videos on combat with
Yes.
Mass Effect?
I actually went and watched your reaction, and then
Okay.
I ended up watching it again with my boyfriend.
What are your thoughts, either positive or negative?
The combat looks quite a lot different from Mass Effect 3, actually in a good way. I'm
In a good
curious
way.
to see about how I'll end up playing on it.
Do you personally like, dislike, indifferent towards the ability to respec your character between missions?
I don't mind it at all.
You don't mind it? Okay.
It seems like it'll be something interesting, something different.
Does anybody else in the panel think that ability is a good idea or is cool, or they really like that idea more than they dislike the idea? Anyone else? Go ahead, Mike.
I am of the. I don't mind it. I would have preferred if I had the locked in classes, but I don't mind it because it's like, this is why Ryder is leading the charge. This is why he's so special. He has this ability no one else has. He can change what he is at the drop of a hat. So from lore-wise, that's why I don't mind it. But gameplay-wise, I like running through the game multiple times with different classes of the like. So
Go ahead, Mark.
Honestly, about the leveling up and getting the skills, I'm actually right in the middle.
Okay.
I can understand both sides of the argument, like having the freedom of doing, picking which skills you want on a certain tree so that you can unlock a certain profile. But I can also understand the argument that they would prefer to stick with one class because of replayability. But the only argument I can say is personal preference.
Yeah.
And according to some of the developers in BioWare, they said that you can be able to play the entire game as just one class.
Yeah. So yes, thank you. Because I know that Jocelyn T, if you're watching still on the chats, was playing a bit of devil's advocate because, again, I was playing devil's advocate to my reaction, which is nobody is forcing you to respec your character in between. If you want to just stay as one class like you always have traditionally, you have the option to do that. And then somebody else who's playing the game has the option of being a little bit more, a bit more flexible with their class system. So the argument, of course, is, well, this way you get best of both worlds. You can either be this kind of player, you can be that kind of player. So why complain about having something that everyone can enjoy universally? Does anyone have a response? Does anyone have a response to that about, like, why the heck are you guys complaining? Like, if nobody's
Well,
Okay.
so
Play a little
I want to hear this, David or Malik, whoever wants to go. Go ahead, Malik. Why don't we go with Malik?
I would say, like, I don't mind at all that people can do this, but I also like ultimately like more player choice is better. Like, that's just how it is with games. The more choices you give your player in the way to play the game, the better it is. But sometimes you also got to consider whether or not what you're doing is fucking with what was the core idea of the game to begin with. So, like, something like an easy mode in Dark Souls, I wouldn't mind because I wouldn't play it, but maybe someone who like is really bad at video games but really wants to play this can't do it because it's so hard. So, like, I wouldn't mind there being a way for these people to play.
Mm-hmm.
In the same sense with this, I don't mind that you can like swap and change out. I just don't think it makes any sense in the context of the bigger game.
Okay.
That makes sense.
David, and then I thought I saw Mike raise his hand.
No, I was just saying, when Malik said people who are bad at Dark Souls, I felt the need to
to raise your hand. Okay.
Me too.
David, did you want to say something?
Yes, well, It's kind of So if the optimal way to play the game, look, if I go up against a brute, let's say it's a brute, and I know that if I change to a different spec, I can destroy this thing easily.
Mm-hmm.
So do I hinder myself or hamper myself by playing just like an engineer? Or is it is it easier to play like if you have to respec all the time? And is that the optimal way to play the game? Or am I hampering myself by not doing it?
Or do you feel like you're playing the game in a way that the developers didn't intend you to play?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
I think I could be able to try and say, like, to respond to that, David, and that is, it depends on your playing style. Like, if you want to stick with one class, that's fine. If you want to go with multiple classes, that's A-okay.
Okay, well, then I have no problem with it whatsoever. So,
Why should you hold the game?
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
My final opinion on it is like I said, it just reminds me of multiclassing in D&D. So that's why I'm 60% for it. And the only thing I'm mostly concerned of is how they're going to explain it, like in story, like why you're able to just switch at a drop of a hat these characters. That's the only thing that really concerns me.
I don't think they will actually. Like, knowing BioWare, it's just going to be something they'll drop in and then just leave in there without explaining it, because like that's become their style almost lately.
They have said that there will be an explanation. One of the a couple of the trailers, a couple writers here and there have made tweets. It's something to do with Ryder's dad, who is both an N7 soldier and a fairly good scientist. This is where I drew the line somewhere, that if Sam is not the explanation for Ryder's multi-class respect, then he's probably something else. I will reserve for my question and topic.
Go ahead, David. And then Gentleman Gamer.
Just the thing I was going to say. I think he actually tweeted that yes, there's a lore explanation for the switching of classes.
Devin, go ahead.
Who or what is Sam?
The dad.
Oh, no. Sam is the AI.
Sam is the AI. Alec Ryder.
Alec Ryder is the father.
dad.
Oh, right. That's his name.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm guessing Sam is basically...
Go ahead.
Sam is basically... Go ahead. Finish what you were saying, Malik.
I would say, I'm asking, like, so Sam is basically your ED this time around.
Yes.
Well, he's also a neural connection to the
like
Pathfinder.
Yeah,
the Pathfinder.
Sam is
has a neural
acronym.
implant that
Yeah,
connects them to Alec Ryder.
Sam's an acronym for.
Sorry, one at a time. Mike was starting to talk. Let him finish, please. Go ahead.
Sam. Sam is an AI, but he is also a system that connects all the Pathfinders together. It's a neural implant that they can use to directly communicate with Sam. Mark, what were you going to say, and what does the acronym stand for?
Yeah, the acronym means Simulated Automated Matrix.
Okay.
So kind of a hive mind-ish kind of thing. Well, not really, but like...
It's the Matrix.
It's the Matrix. Does Sam connect just to Ryder, or does it connect to the other squad mates too?
It connects to those who are from the Pathfinder team.
So at least Liam and the chick.
Or Cora. I don't know if David wants you to call her the chick, because David's like, she has a name.
Yeah. You're a romancer, but me. She's mine.
We'll get to romances, I'm sure, at some point in the discussion.
Also, isn't it interesting that Sam is an AI? Because aren't AI banned in like Mass Effect 2?
Yeah.
Exactly my point.
That's interesting.
Alex a Pathfinder. He'll do whatever the heck he pleases.
I don't want to. I don't
Well-
want to get. Go ahead, Devin.
I was saying, did we settle exactly when this voyage set off? Because it might not have been banned at the time.
Yeah, it was banned way before humans even
Okay.
came into space. So it's the ship leaves in 2185, which is during the events of Mass Effect 2. But then again, Mass Effect 2 also takes place when there is an active AI suddenly out and about again. So basically, and Shepard does have connections to the Citadel at the time, and it's also before the elusive man goes completely batshit crazy. So, like, since that guy was, well, he had connections. He probably, like, there were probably some people on the Citadel who knew about the existence of EDI. And in that way, that's probably how the idea of bringing an AI on board the Andromeda Initiative actually took place, because of like the potential benefits outweighed the potential risks. That's my guess, at least.
To respond to what David just asked, and again, if you're watching this live stream, just know that there's spoiler warning for not necessarily anything that we know for sure in Andromeda, but just in the Mass Effect lore in general. It's just a spoiler warning. About the whole AI thing, and I don't want to get out of combat yet, so I'm just going to mention that because of Cora's last name, I hope I don't break David's heart. Because do you know that for those of you who know the significance of Cora's last name, a lot of people are pointing out that her last name happens to be the last name of the elusive man's real name. So people are wondering if Cora may or may not have some ties to Cerberus. Maybe that's why Sam is in AI and why Sam is in this initiative. I don't know, just some thoughts. But we can talk about that more when we're done talking about combat. So any other thoughts from the panel about combat?
Well, as you know, I've been like maybe the biggest critic of the game so far. Like, I've not been shy on saying about how I thought it would be garbage, but I will say with the addition of favorites, because before they showed this trailer, what they only had shown was that you had 3 abilities, and sure, you could switch out of before missions, but you only had 3 abilities, and they labeled it as "we are giving you more freedom," when in fact they would be limiting you in the same way they did with Inquisition, which I also think is a bad game. With the addition of favorites, they've actually addressed this problem that I had, in the sense that you now actually have access to 12 abilities. Even though, like, when switching, there is a cooldown, you still have the access to up to 12 active abilities in each combat situation, which does make it so that you aren't as limited as you would have been, especially compared to how not limited you could have been in the previous Mass Effect games.
Any other thoughts before we move on to a different topic?
Someone mentioned earlier the jetpack
yes.
or jumping system,
Yes.
hovering.
Oh yeah.
That just makes me happy in general, because having the high ground is always easier for me because I can't aim for.
The jet boots, and the boots do more than just make you hover. They also make you dash. It reminds me of the Mega Man X dash attack, personally. I thought that's kind of cool, but
I also traditionally like to play snipers in my shooter games, so being able to get up and away is good for me.
Yeah, I think the jetpack's really cool because it has a lot more freedom of movement, being able to take the high ground and the low ground, but also being able to evade from your enemies as well as getting the advantage on your enemy, which I thought is really cool.
But my cover.
I have the high ground, Anakin. It's over.
Yes, I know.
But
Know
There could be
myself.
cover somewhere else. Who knows?
so
It
so
will-
did Darth Maul, and he kind of got cut in half.
Uh,
You can jump up high and then hide behind.
Yeah, you can jump up high and hide behind. You might be able to get to cover faster and easier
Yay.
with this system.
That would be really handy for me, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
If you have backlash, you can make your own cover.
Knowing myself, I'm gonna, cover. Then like 5 minutes with the new jet system, I'm gonna jump all over the place. Oh, it's the best thing in my world. Boing, 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 boing.
So the other differences I think in the combat include, I believe when you pause the game, you can't actually freeze time completely. I think it slows down. So I believe that's similar to the change in combat with Fallout 4, because Fallout 4, everything just slows down when you pause instead of having it stop indefinitely. And then I think another change in the combat, which I personally really liked, is that there's a lot more emphasis on melee weapons than there was before.
Oh yeah, they added new melee
exactly.
weapons.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Okay.
Yeah, the
Oh.
new
More-
weapon system I really like.
I've
So more
wanted-
than just the Omniacs or whatever.
Right. There's like the Krogan Warhammer. You can have. There's a
Yeah,
whole bunch
and
of.
and
That
the Asari
comes-
Katana sword.
That
Ooh.
brings
Ooh.
up another part of Andromeda that I'm not excited about.
Oh, really?
Crafting.
Okay. You don't like crafting?
I don't like. I like good crafting, and BioWare has not made good crafting yet.
Is it because it's? What about the crafting system do you not like? I'm just curious. In the past.
Well, they haven't really told us anything about it, for now it's mostly just speculation. But usually crafting means you have to go out and gather a fuck ton of resources, which means that you just kind of like in Inquisition, where you just mindlessly went around ting. I need some stone or iron or whatever to make my fancy new staff that gives me plus 1% more damage or whatever. That's one thing. And then BioWare games have never had interesting loot. I don't think
Yeah,
Like,
I'll agree with you
yeah.
on there, Malik.
the Dragon Age games have. You have a few swords, but none are like. I think the game that has had the most interesting loot has been Dragon Age 2, where with
Really?
the addition of the mage staff, like the different types of mage staff, is where there is also a blade attached to it. That's a cool concept that I don't understand why they ditched in Inquisition.
It's interesting you mentioned that you liked Dragon Age 2's looting system, because I disliked it the most just because.
Oh yeah,
Just because you couldn't.
it had major problems, like just the fact that there's a fucking entire type of inventory that's just trash.
I know, and you can't sell beans.
Well, it wasn't because of that. It was because we lost the ability to equip armor on our.
Oh yeah,
companions.
I hated that
But
too.
yeah,
That was what I
but
didn't like.
Yeah.
that was
personally.
quickly modded to be
Yeah.
so you were able to do that anyway.
Right. But again, I don't want to digress back to a different game. But yes,
But yeah,
thank you for bringing that up.
So, but yeah, anyway, crafting, like as it stands, I am on the fence about it because BioWare has yet to give us interesting crafting, like also meaningful loot.
Mhm.
Because usually, whenever you would get a fancy weapon of some kind somewhere, and that would just be better than everything you would find for the next 20 hours at least in like BioWare games in general, like especially in the Dragon Age, like in Inquisition with their jumping puzzles that would lead up to a fancy little chest. What you would find would be 12 gold and a gray garbage thing. So it's just like they have yet to show that they can do crafting and loot in a way that's truly interesting.
I liked the Inquisition
Go ahead.
things. Crafting system. The most powerful blade, two-handed weapon came from there, but again, that's getting to a different game. In this one, it looks like you'll get more resources from choosing what type of colony you want to have. want to create on which habitat, like Heaven, you could have a military outpost or a scientific research station, and each will give you a better access of different materials.
Anyone else have thoughts on the looting system or crafting system or combat in general? I'm sorry, go ahead. Somebody's about to say something?
I was just say, looting I have no real opinion on. Is what it is. Crafting I don't generally do that much anyway, because I've never really liked crafting system in any game I've ever played. So neither of those really have any like sway me really much at all.
Malik, let me ask you this question then, because I know that at least starting with Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect was less about a looting kind of game, because I know that you did pick up armors, for example, in Mass Effect 1, and then they got rid of that starting with Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
So are you saying even in Mass Effect 1, you thought that they could greatly improve on the looting system?
Yeah, in Mass Effect 1, it's also just you find so much useless stuff. Like, once you're, like, maybe even just a quarter through the game, you'll have so much you'll have found so much stuff that you'll just be constantly having to go into your inventory and convert stuff to Omnigel because you would run out of space all the time. And every time you open the menu, it would force you to do this. And it would also meant that sometimes you were forced to get rid of better gear because your inventory had already been filled with stuff that was useless.
So for Andromeda, are you saying that you prefer there to still not be loot like in Mass Effect 1, or they want them to reintroduce loot in some way that was better?
I want them to do it in a way that is like, because obviously they're going to do it with crafting and everything, but I want them to do it well.
Okay.
So it's I think the biggest misunderstanding that maybe you could have about me is that I want these games to be good. I want Mass Effect and I want Dragon Age to be good, but as it stands, BioWare has yet to show me that they can do this.
Shogun,
they have been disappointing, basically.
Shogun, go ahead.
Hunter Fennell says, "Holy crap! I've never seen this many people in a Google Hangout."
Yeah. Hi, Hunter.
Must be your first then.
Jocelyn T also adds.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Jocelyn T also adds.
Also says, "Has anyone heard?" Now, this is another topic.
Yeah, okay, I would like to bring it up.
Okay. Well, before we move on to the next topic, again, if you guys are watching are just joining us now, we are inviting more people. If you guys want to join in this hangout, I can rotate people in and out. We actually have one free spot right this moment for anyone who wants to join us in this hangout. And just because I rotate you out now doesn't mean you can't come back again. So if you want to join us physically in the hangout, please send me a private message with your email address if you have not already sent me your email address, and we'll get you into here. Mark, you said you wanted to bring up another topic?
Yes, I do. This one actually involved with Jocelyn T in the chat. So it's about the mini games making a comeback in Andromeda. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh God, no, please. Oh.
Well, it entirely depends if it's the ones we had in Mass Effect 2 or the ones we had in Mass Effect 1, because I'm just utterly bad at the hacking minigames in Mass Effect 1. Like, just let me yell on it and cry because I don't have the logic to handle that puzzle.
As Shepard says in Mass Effect 2, do you remember the good old days where you could just slam Omnigel on everything?
Yeah. Does anyone on the panel know any information on what the mini games entail? Anyone?
Nope. We don't know much.
Okay.
All we know is that it's a possibility that it's going to be a comeback.
Okay. So right now, Kiwi expressed some anxiety to the return of mini games. What are other people's thoughts?
I have some thoughts of my own.
Go ahead.
I'm hoping it's not like Mass Effect 1 on the PC because I don't like them.
Neither do I. It's so difficult.
Like, if you've seen... Okay, and I hate to be self-inserty, but if anyone has seen my Let's Play of Mass Effect 1, you may notice that I keep failing at some of them. And I just go like, I don't like it. I mainly prefer the Xbox version because it's a lot more easier.
Yeah, the button pushing is just as I did the same thing with my Mass Effect Let's Play. I was so frustrated with it by the time I got to the end of the game. I was like, oh, because I kept on messing up. Not getting it. I had to go back and do it several times.
I don't really know about the rest of it, but the one we had on Noveria, I think, like with the turning thingy that I seriously could never do. I could never finish it.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one?
I will have everyone know I did finish it. So just saying.
I did too. You're good.
Lucky you.
I slammed some on Nigel on it.
I think
I was gonna say, are you talking about that thing where you had to turn on the VI? If so, then yeah, I slapped the Omnijel on it too. I couldn't figure it out.
Okay, I think David's trying to say something. Go ahead, Reclusiarch.
For me, it was quite the opposite because I became so good at them. They were just a waste of time. I'm like, oh my god, not again. Duck, 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 done. I'm not trying to brag here, but it was just so annoying. Like,
this is so easy, you guys.
I'm in the same boat as David in this.
Yeah. Like,
so you guys would. It sounds like across the board, almost people would prefer that they didn't go back to the mini games.
I like the puzzles when you have to like do the VR thing, like unique puzzles. Sure, do that, but do a puzzle you have to do every time you open a door. That's not for me.
Yeah.
Like, I like the mini games in Mass Effect 2. I thought they were used a bit too much, but they were interesting in the way they had actually been set up compared to the ones in Mass Effect 1 that were just either the frog jumping over the road or the whatever the other thing was. I think there even another. Anyway,
I know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, the fact that there were different types of mini games in Mass Effect, like, or at least there were two major types, and both of them were super easy to figure out once you did it. So like, it was super fast to get over, like to get done, but still interesting enough in its like initial setup that it didn't become like I didn't feel like it became the pipe thing from BioShock, for example, because that was just.
I agree.
Other thoughts on the minigame system? Okay, I do want to get another question from the chats.
I got some.
Go ahead, Mike.
Pickle Warrior says, I love pie.
Okay.
What?
I think,
however, if we go on to I'm sorry, I'm going to
Arlene.
This.
I think Arlene.
Arlene Raisa.
Arlene Raisa. Are you happy there is no level cap and that the side quests will be meaningful?
Are you happy that there's no level cap and that the side quests will be meaningful?
Yes.
Yeah, I like the idea that the side quests are meaningful.
Yeah.
Cross your fingers on
I
that.
have no opinion with the level cap because I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Well, let me take that question and I'm sorry. Go ahead, Devin.
I was just say level cap. No real opinion on me. I don't think I ever got full level ever on any of my Mass Effect playthroughs. For side effects being meaningful, I mean, I remember the side quests in Mass Effect 3 being meaningful, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it all depends on what they mean by meaningful. Like, if it's the Mass Effect 3 meaningful, I know I'm going to get a whole lot of anxiety doing every single side quest to make sure that everything's going to be okay, nobody dies. But that's just me.
Were you going to say something, David?
I just think that like meaningful side quests, I think Mass Effect 3 did them pretty well. I think it's like the fetch quests, like in Dragon Age Inquisition, that collect 5 potatoes, 5 weed, and 5 like that, and then come back to me. And if you have, you all remember Interlands. If you have like a huge area with fetch quests and kill 5 bears, it's just gonna.
And 3 more quests come up.
Yeah.
That references one of a topic I want to bring up later as well. But staying on the quests, they've specifically stated that they will be like Witcher 3, which is a good thing because Witcher 3 actually had like every single side quest was a meaningful little story. Usually, like focused around hunting a monster, but still, like you got interesting like little peeks into the world through each of those. And if side quests in Andromeda is going to be like that, then I'll be happy because that's the kind of stuff I would like from my game. Whereas as it stands, with as David pointed out, the bullshit fetch quests in Inquisition.
I'm going to take this question and I'm going to use it as a segue into the broader topic that I really would like to discuss with everybody. Because I think one of the major things that BioWare has said about their more meaningful quests are specifically the loyalty quests that are returning from Mass Effect 2, because I think the loyalty quests are very meaningful. And by that, I would like to segue into us talking about characters. So not only talking about our squad mates that they've already started releasing information on, but also our crewmates as well. So I think that BioWare has already talked about the 6 main squad mates officially. They consist of Liam and Cora, the human male and female in your squad is the way I would like to describe them as. They're the human male and female. Then you have the female Turian Vetra, the male Krogan Drac. Thank you. Then there is Jal, who is an Andromeda new race. I forgot what Jal's race is. And then
the guy that everyone wants to suck the dick off, obviously, because you alien. Let's all have sex with him.
Can we not go there, please?
Okay.
That could get really weird really fast.
I should put an age warning to this. Hangout. Okay. Now Devin's like, now I'm curious.
Well, and like he's like Giles turning out to be the fan favorite at the moment. So, and that's what I got the impression of when
he has a
cape. Tumblr.
What the
his flag is unmeasurable.
The sixth. Who's the sixth squad mate again?
PB. Sorry.
Thank you. PB.
PB. Sorry.
Yes. So, thoughts on let's start with the squad. Thoughts on the squad mates. Mark, did you have something to say?
Indeed, I do.
Okay.
So, what do I think about all the squad mates? Honestly, I think they might be enjoyable. I could see like some characters I can relate. One of them I hope to romance, and that is of course Vetra.
Yes.
Because I don't know why, but she seems like she's giving off a Garrus vibe, in my opinion, and I love Garrus.
The new Garrus.
In Mass Effect. Yeah, thank you, Shogun. Thank you.
Well,
but anyway,
always love the voice.
Yep. The new squad mate, I don't know. Jal, I don't know what he's like personally. Drac, he seems like someone that you would like to go out for drinks with, in my opinion. Liam, all I can say is he has good hair. And
have
Cora,
you seen his model?
Yeah. Oh boy, Hark, I think you might like him.
What was the last character you mentioned that was in the squad? You mentioned the Andromeda character.
PB.
Jal?
Oh.
No, Jal, the Angara. And let's see, Cora.
Korra,
I-
the Turian, Krogan, the new Andromeda character.
Yep.
And then
Or
PB
species.
the
PB
Asari.
the Asari. PB the
Okay.
Asari. Yes.
Okay, making sure. Because I
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Korra, I think she's okay. I mean, I like that she's a biotic. And she worked with the Asari Commandos. I really like her. And PB, she's cute. I'll just say that. I like her personality.
Very different from Liara.
Anyway, that's what yeah, it's like very, very different from Liara. Someone who I wish to know better, but only as a friend. Because I'm focusing my eyes on Vetra.
Nice.
And but anyway, those are my thoughts about each of the squad mates. What about everyone else?
Yeah, please.
So I can actually see for the first time what they all look like. Jal definitely is interesting looking, if nothing else.
Mhm. Yeah, so a lot of people were saying that his race, at least the female version of his race, looks very Twi'lek-like.
Yeah,
The male version looks a little bit more, I want to say lion-like, kind of.
or
Yeah.
Cathar,
Yeah, I can definitely
like
see
from
it.
Star Wars.
I can see that.
Cathar,
I see like a very
Apparently.
Thundercats thing going on.
Yeah. Thundercats. Oh!
Exactly. Keep going. Did you have other things to say, Devin?
For some reason, I'm probably the only one who sees this, but Cora Harper, getting like a young Dr. Chakras like vibe from her, just looking at her.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Interesting.
does give off a Chakwas vibe.
Just
At
by
least-
looking at the picture.
Yeah,
she's
just physically.
sorry.
David, do you have any ideas of who you might romance in this group? I don't know. No.
Maybe PB? No. I mean, Cora, they even said that she's like the disciplined one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so she's like the
You
space Cassandra.
disciplinarians?
The space
Or
Cassandra.
Miranda Lawson from Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, but she
Possibly
doesn't
that.
seem as stuck up as Miranda. She seems more like a good second in command.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry,
that I respect.
David, did you just say she doesn't seem as assed as Miranda?
I don't think I heard that, but
Can I just say one thing about
Boom, 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 boom.
okay,
this whole
Malik.
thing? The way that they have they've released these character sheets, basically these reference sheets. And can I just say I find it really weird how they decided to, let's just say, pose the ladies in a way that flaunts their assets
Mm,
the most. Like, it's a very Bioware thing.
mhm.
Like,
If I take
Like,
back the joke, can we not talk about the?
Let-
I would
let-
argue that's a gaming industry general.
yeah, but like, but still, like other games companies like Blizzard, who are notorious for making utterly ridiculous female outfits. Like, look at fucking Widowmaker or Sylvanas. But yeah, even they, like with their reference sheets, it's just the good old spread out arms turnaround. I don't know why BioWare insists on this. But well, ultimately it doesn't matter much. I'm
Mhm.
tired of over sexualization in games, really.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we can agree on.
But for the characters themselves,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's just a Mass Effect thing, but the humans always seem the most boring to me. Both Cora and Liam. Like Liam, okay, he looks cool, but like still, because they're humans, I've probably met them a billion times already in my gaming periphery. So it's like that's just me. I'm
What's
most
new?
curious. I'm most curious about Jarl because new race and all that. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, something about like the non-human races, in my opinion, they just grab my attention. And of course, the humans, I don't know, they just seem bland, in my opinion. Like they're too stereotypical, in my opinion.
I would argue that's because we live on planet Earth. We're surrounded by humans all our lives. We're kind of old school.
Exactly. Exactly.
Humans.
Meanwhile, David has another opinion.
Well, David has a different opinion.
Uh-oh.
So
Yes.
David's going to tell you the correct opinion.
Yeah,
He does.
that's how it is. No. The new raise doesn't do anything for me because I don't know what that is. Like a squid on 2 feet. I don't know.
Wow.
Are you
Kroger's never
saying
really
that
got
you
into
don't
them
like the
either.
aliens much, David?
But
Are you saying that you don't like the aliens much, David?
yeah, Metro
Are
is
you-
cool, but
You humans are all racist.
Humans are all racist.
too weird.
I don't
Liam,
drag
on
me
the other
into
hand,
that.
he's cool.
Okay.
David is the Ashley of this group.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Nah.
Go ahead. I think I see Mike raising his hand.
David Flynn says, gather your assets to defeat the Reapers.
Jeez Louise, Gavin.
No, Gavin. Gavin, why are you not in this chat? Gavin, I'm just
Yeah,
just throwing
come
it there.
on, come on.
There's a
We wanna hear your
space free,
thoughts.
Gavin. Come on, get in here.
Or anyone else.
Are you scared that it will make you blush like when we play D&D?
Gavin, I'm emailing you the link, and if you just happen to click on it, it's not my fault. Just so you know. If you happen to click on it, Gavin. We need some gingers up in here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, come on.
But anyway,
Come on, let's-
who else?
Gotta feed
Self-invade-
Hark's fetish.
Oh,
I want to romance them all at the same point. At some point,
He's a squid on legs.
I think they've said that all squad mates are romanceable.
apparently it looks like
Don't
a
quote me
squid
on that.
bunny.
I don't know. We haven't gotten any confirmation
There
on
was,
that
there
yet.
was. Oh, hang on.
From what I've heard, they
Oh, like
can all be flirted with, but it depends on them if they're going to anyway.
reciprocate.
If they're-
Yes.
yes.
Reciprocate.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yes. This.
Yeah, from what I've been told, this game is supposed to have more romances than ever before. So
That's a
I don't
good
know.
thing.
Yes, I think that's a good thing. So I don't know if that automatically means all of the squad mates are romanceable, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of out of squad romanceable characters, which I do want to talk about the rest of the crew. But
I mean,
go ahead. Before we do, go ahead.
like, you'd think the reason why they haven't revealed most, like, any man's options at the moment, apart from what you've seen on screen, is because of, like, what you see with the squad mates. Like, you won't have maybe someone's going to miss out on, like, having a traveling companion that's also a love interest, because there are crew members to consider. So if they reveal, like, who is romanceable just based on who your companions are, then I know it's not showing the full breadth of your options. So, and like, if they reveal that, and someone's gonna get mad.
Gavin, my love.
Yay! Finally, the redhead's here.
Gavin, did you just get a haircut? You look good, man. You look really.
It's the lighting. It makes me look slightly better.
Yes. Oh, Gavin is mad sexy.
Don't
All right.
worry,
so,
you're as red as always, mate.
Gavin, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, and do you want us to refer to you as Gavin? I guess
That'll do. Gavin will do.
Where are you? I think people can guess where you're from, but tell us where you're from.
Mhm.
Hello, my name is Gavin, and this is my favorite hangout on the Citadel.
No. Gavin Flynn says, Mass Effect's motto: nobody dies except for the suicide mission.
Oh,
For me,
Gavin,
at least. For me.
Smooth, real smooth.
So Gavin, what are your thoughts on the squad characters? Any of the squad characters?
Like how I wanted to ride the Bull in Dragon Age, I want to ride the Drac in not Inquisition, in Andromeda.
Andromeda.
I want to ride the Drac, yes.
Really?
Right, the Drac. Oh, okay.
Obviously.
Listen, I'm always the one who likes to have the weird romances in games. I'm always the one who's like, everyone's like, oh, I romance Morgan. I'm like, okay, I romance everyone with a rogue dwarf bard It was fun.
It's interesting you say that, Gavin, because of all of the squad members currently, I'm actually leaning towards riding the Drac as well, personally. I'm actually leaning towards that too.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I know. It's weird, huh? So,
I thought you would be
see.
going after Liam, but Drac? Woo!
Liam seems cool, but I don't know. There's something enticing about a Krogan. I don't know.
What can you
Yeah,
say?
considering we never had a
Oh.
Krogan romance.
The bigger the better.
So,
Actually, I was just wondering, like, I wonder how that would go.
Some
With
say
how
he
that
has a
would
big
be.
Yeah.
hammer.
You never go back.
I have zero idea of really what Drax's personality is like. I know that he is an older Krogan. So I don't know. He kind of right now sounds like a cross between Brex and Blackwall somehow. I don't know. Or maybe with a little bit of Garrus Broy-ness in there based on what I've seen in the trailer. But I don't know. I have zero clue what he's like. So we'll see. But it pretty much, if it was a squad, I'm starting to lean more towards Drac or Jal. But I really want to see what the rest of the crew is like, too.
For
before I
me,
make-
it would either be Drac or PB, because she seems like, from what we usually see of Asari, it's like the doctors that are all kind of samey. If you've played all the Mass Effect games, she's like, even though she's I believe the thing said rogue scholar, like, she's very different from the Asari, even though her occupation may seem quite similar to the ones we've had.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of curious about Calo Jath, to be honest. I don't know if he's romanceable or not, but I want to talk with him because he seems like cool.
Okay, well,
You have to
Kalojath.
remind me who he is again.
Kalojath is not in the squad, so I don't want to get to Kalojath right this moment. But just to answer your question real quickly, Kalojath is the Solarian pilot. He's your Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
right, okay.
yes, he's not.
Yeah, let's talk about the squad first before we move on to the other cast members. Anyone else have other
Then
thoughts?
I can give
on-
out my opinions next.
Have some words about the squad. So, with the limited amount of information that we're handed, I'm still withholding some judgment, and particularly when it comes to who is romanceable or not. But I think starting off, Korra gives me you've seen Mortal Kombat X. She reminds me of Cassandra. Cassie Cage. Just
Cassie
just
Cage.
appearance wise. Yeah.
I can see that.
Liam, I'm sort of no, he's among top two of my favorites. So with alongside Joel. And Joel, because of his name, he just reminds me of that old rap song from the early 2000s. So, I know I'm not going to say it because it's embarrassing. And
No, instead just sing it.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Love it,
it's-
Carlo. Bravo.
I just as soon as I heard his name, it's like, oh.
Angel Arts approval plus 10.
Well, it's not as bad as what I first thought when I saw it, because I love watching Monster Factory from Polygon, and the thing with Monster Factory is that they did one in Spore, and their creature was called Jam, and it was pretty much the same color as Jal is. And the only thing I think is Jal has the applesauce we all crave in his backpack. That's all I think because of that goddamn video. So
Wow. Okay.
Well, like I said, the fandom really just wants to bang that new guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new flavor of the
Because
month,
he's
apparently.
new, I
I
suppose.
mean, I have other
I
things
know,
in my
it's
mind.
just-
We all know, like, all who has been a part of Mass Effect Collision knows that humans have a tendency to like them tentacles.
Oh, Malik.
We're
If
going there.
that's the most popular
Don't
race
make
in the
me
galaxy.
censor nug you, Malik.
Kitty.
Wish we know how.
Alright,
Wish we know how.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it you who paired up our all-time favorite jellyfish
And
with
our-
our favorite favorite redhead?
that was part of his
What?
backstory. That was his backstory. I was like, okay, we'll do it. So, um, since we got the way we got into this topic was we were talking about loyalty missions. So I am looking forward to hopefully there being more than one loyalty mission, because I'd like there to have not it just be a binary, oh, you just finished this one loyalty mission, this person is loyal to you now. Like maybe having the loyalty missions add points, I guess, to the overall loyalty of a person.
Kind of like the friend and rival from Dragon Age 2.
Yeah. So it's sounding like it's something that like there will be more than one for each character. So I'm excited if that is the case, because I did love that aspect about the Mass Effect 2 game the most was the loyalty missions, because I thought they were the best written parts of the game, in my opinion.
They gave you the most insight into each of these characters, and since you had so many,
exactly,
it's hard to get proper insight into a lot of them. And
they're so diverse too. Like Morden's, I love, because you really got more into his character besides the initial, oh, this guy is just like mostly comic relief.
But also you get a lot of actual background story on the Krogan as well through that.
Exactly.
Mission.
And that also features into like a future choice you can make in Mass Effect 3 if you...
Another thing that I hope it'll actually be a little more similar to is the in Mass Effect 1 you had personalized missions for Garrus and Rex.
Rex and Tali.
And it was interesting that in order to access these missions, you had to actually talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
You had to befriend them in order to, whereas in Mass Effect 2, it's just, okay, we've reached the halfway point, now go make people loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Mass Effect 1, you actually had to actively engage with your crew in order to unlock their personalities, basically. And I hope it'll be more like that. Like the more you speak to them, the more like personal missions you'll get from this character, for example. So it's not just something that just automatically pops up at a certain part in the story.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just...
And I hope that
Go
ahead, Carlo.
Oh yeah, sorry. Because like I'm just referring to Inquisition, no matter how much of hot mess it was. It's because like I remember like I was so invested in the companions that I managed to get through their arcs really quickly. That like there wasn't anything in the story that, or like there was little in the story that passed out the development like just sufficiently enough over the course of the main quest. So I imagine if that were the case in Andromeda, I would be a little bit too invested in the character, very intriguing enough that I would a lot of their character arcs early in the story, having some sort of lock each main quest that would say, all right, so you unlock this sort of planet, there's a new character arc to this companion somehow. So, but I'd like a bit of both.
What I also would love to see is loyalty missions that not only just determined whether or not a character was more loyal to you, but also help define who they are as a character. So just to give an example, without giving any spoilers away, in Dragon Age Inquisition, Cole's character mission greatly determined what path he would take. You get completely different Coles based on that without giving anything away.
For a better, less spoilerly example, you could say Alistair from Dragon Age Origins. You could,
it is true as well.
Double entendre. Harden him.
Yes, I know. Yes,
but it's considering that it would be interesting if they I would be surprised if they took used Cole as a okay, let's test how this works in
Mhm.
a bigger narrative sense, and
Mhm.
if players like it or not. And
Yeah.
since like Cole is basically everyone's favorite character in the world, like
Yeah.
Cell second favorite.
Self-inversion
Mhm.
stops
Eh,
over Cole's feelings.
anyway, like I think that because Bioware so okay, this works. What can we do to like expand this concept? And I would like if that's what they do. Also, like as it is, as was it Mike? Was you said like the like it, as it's an expansion of the hardening system
Yeah.
that you could get with Alice and Liliana in Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, everybody get your laughs out about the hardening system of a game, please. Now.
I
The
didn't say
other,
that.
just get it all out. The other thing that I would love to see that they actually did in Inquisition, and I hope that they do that in this game as well, is that they also include loyalty missions not just for people in your squad, but also people in your crew. So
Yeah, that'd be
maybe
good too.
characters that you're romancing, you would still get a loyalty mission from them, similar to there was a loyalty mission, or not really a loyalty mission, but like a character mission for the advisors as well in Inquisition. So
Yeah.
I hope they do that in this game as well.
Well, apparently they'll have like equal like attention paid to them,
Mhm.
in spite of what you've received about squad members. I mean, like I would like to see more about the crew members,
Mhm.
but like we only had the Solarian and the Doctor, I think. I don't know who I'm missing. So anyway,
Yeah,
I don't
the
think they've
closest-
really shown. Nothing.
Sorry?
Mike, were you trying to say something? Shogun?
What do you have to say for yourself, Gavin?
Okay, that's a
Listen.
off-topic thing.
Yes.
so-
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
We'll
ignore
discuss
that.
that
Full
later. Like,
focus.
don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
I think we're starting to segue now into the crew members. So I think based on what was mentioned before, there are so far at least two other crew members that are with you. Calo Jaff, the pilot Solarian, as well as Dr. Lexi Tipero, I think. Tepero?
Yeah, Taparo.
Tipero, who is an Asari doctor.
AKA Natalie Dormer.
Yes, who plays,
Yeah.
better known as who again?
Marguerite Tyrell from Game of Thrones.
Thrones.
And
Uh-huh.
what's her face in the Hungry Games?
Oh, yeah,
The
Let-
Hungry
Hunger
Games.
in the Hungry Game.
This is beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, who in the Hunger Games?
I don't actually remember what the name of the character was, but like she had a side cut and looked A+. Yes, there we go.
She was the one who had the mute cameraman. She and the
Yeah.
mute cameraman was there to film Katniss for all of the propaganda videos.
Oh, Effie, something like that. The really, like,
Not Effie Trinket.
oh,
She was the
Another like she was a part of the District 13 rebels.
yes. She was
Okay.
younger. She was she was a lot younger, and
All my lesbian friends went gaga when they saw her.
she's super cute. I will say she's super cute. Thoughts on the other two? I actually, if you were to ask me right off the bat who I would romance about of all of the characters that have been revealed, I would want to go after Calo Jaff personally.
Same.
There's something
So
about
would I.
pilots. Maybe it's just because I really, really wanted to romance Joker, and that just didn't happen for me. So maybe I'll just go with Calo Jaff. The only problem is I'm wondering. I think it would be interesting because I hope that they don't take in. I know that Solarians aren't supposed to have a sex drive. That's just not how they work. That's just how they
But
operate.
they're
So
amphibian.
but I think that a relationship with them can definitely work, especially which I think would speak to the asexual community. Or
Well, I know I've been speaking a lot, but it reminds me a little bit of the relationship with Josephine in Inquisition, which also is another relationship that doesn't have any like sexual like gratification, quote unquote. Like you don't
Mhm.
get a gratuitous sex scene like you do with everyone else
Mhm.
with that romance, which again I like that, and I would like more of those types and not just like they've been very much about, yeah, you get to see everything in their promotion of this. Like, yeah, you get to see all them alien titties if you want. Okay, cool, fair. How about I also get to not see them if that's what fits the character?
Yeah, and
Malik, pull back a little bit on the language, if you could please. Just pull back just a
Yeah,
notch, please.
keep it PG,
Go ahead.
please.
Keep it a little bit PG-13 at least. Go ahead, keep going.
I was saying my favorite. Oh, go on.
I think somebody was trying to say something female. Oh, Kiwi, go ahead.
possible. From what I remember, I think in Mass Effect 2 on Ilium, you were hearing a Salarian with his, I suppose it's his daughter or stepdaughter, talking about buying a gift for his wife, Asari wife. So, I mean, it's not impossible for us to be able to romance a Salarian.
Oh,
But then
Let her
again,
finish.
gave me such heart feels.
I'm trans, but there's the other thing that I always end up kind of falling in love with a character that can't be romance. Varric in Dragon Age was one, Vrex, and even more than, like, I fall in love with the character. I was the one, when I first got Dragon Age 2, to flirt with Aveline every time I could, until the end where I realized I couldn't. So... So I really hope that this time I wasn't wrong with falling in love with Kello, and I hope that I will be able to romance him at some point.
I also was one of the people who would have loved to have been able to romance Morden. He definitely he was definitely someone I would have thought would have been awesomely cool. And I mean, we again, spoilers for Mass Effect 2 and 3. We know that Morden certainly has done the deed with a very, very powerful female Asari, which I think is pretty cool. Actually,
I remember that.
when you get the story about it. So anyway, continue on.
The only thing I was gonna say was, like, my favorite couple in Mass Effect 3 was Joker and Evie.
It's pretty difficult to discuss the characters because we have their looks, we have a few lines from them, but so much depends on their personality. I might love the Drac or Vetra because of their wonderful personality, but right now I don't know anything about them, so it's very hard to. It's the same thing with the NPCs. We have seen like maybe a few scenes with them, and I might love them, I might hate them. It's very difficult to say. Yeah.
Anyone else?
This is about romances, right?
We can talk
I
about
think it's just-
romances. Yeah, romances or characters, whatever you
Okay.
want to talk about.
Okay.
You go first. You go first.
Okay. Honestly, I think I already said,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
squad mate would be Vetra and non-squad mate is Callow, but I'm also kind of curious about Dr. Lexi as well.
Taparo.
Thoughts on Dr. Lexi? Or Carlo, you can speak if you want, if you're going to speak.
Like who? Well, thing is, like, until like the options are revealed to me, then like, you know, then I'll have like some sort of like, I'll have like a preference, but I know at the moment I have two favorite. Oh, not favorite, but I have an inclination or like more intrigued with Liam and Jarl, only because Jarl is like the newbie in the group. But romance-wise, I feel like if I have some preference now, then I'm only going to be like disappointed when they reveal who's
Okay.
there, like what my options are. So, like,
Here's a question just to throw out to people in general, for those of you who are interested in romances. So BioWare has made a big point to try as much as possible to be tight-lipped over who the romance options are, because they intend for you to discover it naturally in the game instead of already going in knowing this is the person that you can romance if you're gay. This is the person you can romance if you're straight. Your thoughts on that? Because I know that some people like the idea of, ooh, I can, explore naturally and figure out who I relate with naturally, knowing that at the other side of the coin, they're trying to make these romances realistic in that you could invest all your time, shooing away everybody else and devoting your time on an Aveline character who in the very end isn't going to, return your advances until you end up finding out it's too late. And you end up maybe being locked out of everybody else's romance. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh,
I'm
I
not
have
sure.
thought.
Oh, okay. So I think I heard Mark and Malik. All right.
It was me.
And okay. Mark, Malik, and Shogun, I guess. Go ahead.
Okay. Honestly, I'm a little bit bothered by this.
Okay.
Because I want to know the romances ahead of time so I
Okay.
can know who is romanceable and who's not romanceable. Because, again, I kept saying this previously, I want to see if Effect is romanceable, but to which writer? And now they're just being all tight-lipped about it. I'm just like, come on, just give us hints. At least give me a hint. I'm being that desperate.
You don't want to waste your time, basically. That's what you're saying.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
I mean, I admit, if I went into Mass Effect 1 with a male shepherd, realizing that I can't, romance Caden, at least without a mod, I'd be a little upset. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Malik?
I hope they don't do a Dragon Age 2 and make all characters available to both writers, because while sure it's a boost to buy visibility, which is a major thing that needs to happen, it's also just a cheap way of saying, hey, whatever. Like I think
It treats bisexuality as a convenience.
Yes, exactly. Rather than something that is an actual legit part of a person's personality. So I hope they do go into in deeper with the characters and make it, at least if most characters are available to both writers, that it makes sense from the character themselves as well, and it's because sexuality is an important part of a person, and just dismissing it as okay, whatever, I feel it cheapens the characters if that's what they're gonna do. And then ultimately, yeah, I would like to know who is romanceable, but I'm not going to buy the game on launch anyway. So when I finally will play the game, because I probably will, it will be all out there already anyway. So.
Shogun.
No. I like not knowing about the romances beforehand, because it's a potential to spoil. People who don't want spoilers, who want to go into it blind, have. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I feel like if people who don't want spoil, it's better to not say who is romanceable or not, because of the amount of people who don't want to know going in. They want a natural experience. Because if you want to know who is romanceable beforehand, you could just wait a bit for the internet community to start playing it for a bit before jumping in. Let them find out who is romanceable with what. I mean, I understand that you want to play it as soon as possible, but you can always play it again. You can always restart if necessary. You can't unknow something. You can't unknow a spoiler if you figure it out. So,
fair point. Devin, you look like you're about to say something.
I was just gonna say, I agree that I don't really want spoilers in that count, but there should be a way for them to okay, if it's the beginning of the game and I choose the flirty option for a character, they should be able to go, maybe not flat out say thanks, but no thanks, but like, give indication early on so you're not like 20 hours in and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, but no.
Okay, so you don't want to have an Aveline moment, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think
if from like the very beginning, she was like, I like you, but not like that. But let's be friends. Cool.
They actually executed that very well with Cullen in Dragon Age Inquisition, because if you start flirting with Cullen, you actually can flirt with him about 3 times, but it's 3 times in the same conversation. And by the 3rd time, he starts, because I think Cullen just doesn't get it. And then he's like, oh, you're trying to flirt with me. Oh, okay. I don't quite see you in that way. So I like that they did that. So then you're like,
in the same game, they kind of did it badly with Cassandra having you able to flirt with her all the way through most of the game as a female.
And
not until very late having her being like, yeah, no.
That I don't agree. I don't agree.
I have a great
that happened too.
Uh-oh, David wants the floor.
David wants the floor. Everybody get ready.
Brace yourselves.
I had a female friend who played Inquisition who loved Dorian.
This happened to a friend of mine.
He like, yeah, come on. He like responded to everything, and at the end, she was like, "What? What? No, but I love you." And I can see in her eyes when her heart broke. She had no idea, zero idea. And I'm like, I like that because her character was just as surprised as she was. Like, what? Oh, but there was even the option, like, what? But you responded to all my flirts. What's this?
Now she understands what gay people all over the world feel like constantly. Constantly. In real life,
so
not just in a video game.
Played out in the game. Having that played out in the game, it will be like
Devin,
it wouldn't sit too well with me.
The only thing I was going to say was that I remember Cullen, but one I also remember even more vividly is Vivienne, how she even shut you down even quicker.
I mean, I hated Vivienne as a person, but I fucking loved her character and how well written she was. Because like it's amazing that you can make me hate a character this much because oh my god, she said.
Yes.
Oh, but flirting with Vivienne is just beautiful. Like it's just how she answers, "Oh, darling, that's cute."
Sorry, darling.
Very patronizing.
Vivienne's my favorite character.
You're not worthy of flirting with Vivienne.
When I first started playing Inquisition, when I didn't see much of the promo stuff except for a few of the character like trailers and like, all right, I'm gonna romance Vivienne. And then when I got into the game, she was like, no. I'm like, all right.
It's not like I wanted you anyway.
Shogun.
I see how it is.
Self-inversion. I wanted a guy Quarian.
You wanted a guy Quarian?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And another one from Self-Inversion.
Yes.
If I may. Self-Inversion says that she had let me try again. Self-Inversion says, my lesbian friends had the exact same thing with Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough.
Funnily enough, they're both written by David Gator.
Oh. I do want to touch on the comment about the male Quarian because there were a bunch of male Quarians through the Mass Effect original trilogy that I would have loved to have been able to romance. Kyle Rieger was awesome, personally. I like them a lot, for example. So what are people's thoughts of the omission of Quarians in the Andromeda Initiative for lore reasons?
And Hal had the same question.
Yes, for lore reasons, and the lore explanation is due to the immune system or the weak immune system of the Quarians. It just wasn't really feasible for them to travel all the way to Andromeda and feel like they would be able to survive. So that is the lore explanation. What are people's thoughts on that specifically? I see Mark. Let's go with Kiwi and then Mark.
Okay. There's
Alright.
a dev, I don't remember who said it, but it's on Twitter, and they said that depending on the actions you take or what you say in the side quests, you will learn what happened to the Quarians. You don't really.
Interesting.
That's all they said. It sounds very ominous, and I'm very curious about that. So that's what the dev said about
Interesting.
the Quarians. So
Okay.
Okay. I'll just say this: I am very disappointed because for those who haven't, I will be posting a Let's Play episode within a couple of days. But I think I did say that Tali is actually my all-time favorite character in the Mass Effect series. I really love her so much, and it's sad to see that there are no Quarians in Andromeda. But I went like, okay, But for what you said, Harg, if that is true, then I'll be like, okay, fair enough. I guess I'll still be sad and disappointed, but I really do like the Quarians.
A lot of people do. I as well. Malik?
Honestly, I think their lore reason is bullshit. Because in the lore, the Quarians, the reason their immune system is so weak is because it's hyper adaptable. So, like, they adapt too much, basically, which they, in one of the epilogues of Mass Effect 3, if you choose synthesis, I think it is, you can have the Geth, they like enter into they will enter into the Quarian suits and like make the Quarians' immune system boosted enough that they can go unmasked within a few years after the end of Mass Effect 3. And because of this, I would argue that they would probably be the best race to send to Andromeda, because unlike the Milky Way galaxy, while like all the species, due to like how much they intermingle, like microbes and so much from every world would, like especially on the Citadel, would get into everyone. But Andromeda is a completely new galaxy, giving completely new bacteria, microbes, everything, diseases, everything. So it's like, it's kind of like the War of the Worlds thing, where like they died because they drank our water. How are we not dying to their like new things?
That's a very good point. David, you had your hand up.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain that we will see a Quarian in Andromeda.
Oh.
Someone has probably snuck on board. I'm also, I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see an unmasked Quarian in Andromeda.
Oh,
yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that.
Because they have new technology, and yeah, I'm totally thinking that a Quarian is going to be in Andromeda somehow.
I hope
He's
so
stuck
too.
aboard one of the arcs.
I hope so.
That's the thing I forgot to mention, because the Quarians are the race I find the most interesting, especially due to them being in suits and just, let me see your face. I mean, I know we got shown Ali's face, but no, we didn't.
Oh, it's gonna be a
was
scene.
it like
I don't know.
picture
I mean,
on
like,
the bedside table?
There is there is in one of the epilogue, like one of the synthesis epilogues, we get to see a still picture of Tali unmasked.
Yeah,
but it's not
Facing the camera.
really. Yeah, it's like it's in profile and like halfway still hidden by the hood and everything. It's just like, come on, BioWare.
But wouldn't you still want to have that mystery though? So it's like,
No, I want the answer.
Not
now.
once we've actually solved their problem. Then it comes down to them just being stingy and not wanting to do the work to let us see.
I don't know. Maybe if I were a Quarian, I probably would want to. I'm not going to reveal all my secrets.
I hate to be that guy who rains on everyone's parade, But well, two things. One, Hunter Fanel says Quarians are still trying to retake their home world when the Andromeda Initiative leaves. Also, there's not a lot of them, but Quarians are on their pilgrimage. Could have left us. However,
Left with us, yes.
the Andromeda Initiative took off during Mass Effect 2 before we either killed all of the either killed them all or got them cured.
True. That's
True.
true.
Still possible for some of them to jump on board.
And there's
Still.
also
Yeah,
like still
but,
like
however-
if Sam is as advanced as you are suggesting, Mike, then it makes then Sam could be the one who actually while they're in cryo sleep, they could have been having an AI or VI even just actually doing the work that the Geth will be doing post Mass Effect 3. So there are plenty of in lore acceptable reasons that could still solve it. So yeah. But yeah,
it's gonna be
I get what you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a scene where you see a Quarian from behind, and he's gonna take off his mask and gonna slowly turn around. It's gonna be woo, the big reveal. Calling it now.
That would be super cool.
They look like Cthulhu and have tentacles. It's like
To be
horrifying.
honest,
I don't think so.
to be honest, I'd still romance them anyway.
Same here.
I
Like
think
what I said earlier, humans
think-
just love them tentacles.
I think it's actually been formally explained, especially because of the picture that you do end up seeing of Tali, that by human standards, Quarians are apparently supposed to be good looking, male and female.
I think
by
that
human
in
Javik
lore they have been stated to have been the most beautiful of all the races, even more than the Asari.
Yes, I think Javik himself says that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else about the characters before we move on to another topic? Because I think we've been on this topic for quite some time. Shogun, were you about to say something?
It's only a quick thing. My hipster romance is best, Vitra. I know you can romance other characters outside of the squad. I don't care, but it's something. But yes, my hipster romance is All Systems Go. If she is lesbian or sex-gated, it won't matter. Male writer will get that operation. And not to make light of the transgender community, but
I mean,
one way or another,
hey.
I'm getting Adventure's Bed. That is just
hey.
something that's gonna happen.
I mean, to be fair, if Ryder can go from engineer to adept at will, who's to say he can't transition? Who's to say Sam can't transition him or her?
Exactly.
You know.
It's like it's 700 years in the future. They might be able to do it like that.
Yeah, they might be able to.
Actually, that's a very, very good point, Malik. Because just 100 years from now, people transition today.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a transgender character like Cora might have been a male once, but now because the technology is so advanced,
Where
in Inquisition as well. So it's like it would almost be going back if they don't include one.
I mean,
yeah, makes sense.
There is one character. There is one
Yeah, it's
character.
Fran.
I think she is, voiced by a transgendered actress. I think it's I forgot her name, but she is the one that introduces you to the initiative, like the Andromeda Initiative sort of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is your transgender character.
that would be cool.
I need to step away for like 2 minutes. Give me.
That's fine. The idea of what you're saying about technology, however many several hundred years from now, to allow people who either want to transition or are gender fluid, who on any given day they say, I feel like I'm male today, or I feel like I'm female today. Maybe there is a way in the future that you can, at will, not to get too graphic, like maybe something's attachable, detachable. I don't know, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, physiologically,
I would laugh if you. Oh, sorry. You go first. Sorry.
mine's truly disgusting. So if there is a chance I don't have to say it, you can.
Try to be bored. Yeah, let's go with Carlo. Carlo,
Yeah,
what's your
just
thing?
keep it.
Keep
Yeah,
it.
go ahead,
try to
Carlo.
keep it
I
a
think-
little.
I think like if there is a chance that you can like because you can change classes, you just like switch genders halfway through the game. From Scott to maybe like from a male to a female, like in the pause menu. But
Very
I know, but
doubtful that you can do that.
that's I know that's treading into territory that might be a little bit too insensitive to those who are
Yeah.
going into experiencing that sort of aspect in their life. So I know, just to be a bit more respectful.
Well,
Of course.
about the changing from one sex to the other on whim, technologically speaking, isn't all that impossible, because with the future technology we have now, the penis and the vagina are before birth are technically the same organ. For
True.
example,
True.
But we are able to artificially create a penis that actually functions as
Right.
it should. So, I think the most common operation is the male to female, which like actually does
Yes.
work and does create a functional, like at least to a certain extent, downstairs. Whereas
Female to
sure.
male is still kind of
Mm.
hella expensive and
Yeah.
not exactly perfected yet. So
But then again, it's like considering the fact that this takes place how many ever years in the future, like I wouldn't think
Right.
that it would take that long for us to at least get something functional for either side.
I mean, they
Go ahead.
brought a person back to life in 2 years, so
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
That's
So like
true.
they've kind of already thrown everything out the bus in
Yes.
that.
I think we're starting to get a little bit off
Yeah. Yeah,
topic of
let's-
the game. So let's
I have two
let's
things.
realign again. Okay, David.
So
Go ahead. You can have the final thought of this. Go ahead, and we'll move on.
Okay, thank you.
first of all, I think it's nice. I think they said that you don't always have to take the initiative in a romance, because the characters, the NPCs, at least one, I think, they say is going to take the initiative and not you if you don't want to. So that's nice. That's nice and fluid
I like that.
and realistic. Also, I feel kind of safe with my romance, because we've seen Cora kissing, but she might just be a one night stand. Like she doesn't. I just want.
Maybe
this
she's
and
like
more.
Isabella.
Yeah, she and that's it. And while I will be totally okay with that, I will be a little bit disappointed. But I think it's time for me to be disappointed in some way, because I've gotten everything I wanted in all of my biology.
You are the straight
Oh, you're
white
the straight
male.
white
I'm straight. Yeah, totally. So I'm ready.
I mean, it's
Okay.
fair. It's fine. Like, we don't have to cut out the straight white males. They also have to get their say, just as long as it's equal with everyone.
Yeah.
you know,
What?
David, if
Go
she
ahead.
breaks your heart, I'm here to talk if you want.
Oh.
You know,
Oh.
I think apart from the Asari, I've yet to see like like an alien like character that identifies as part of the LGBTQ spectrum.
That is true.
So
That is
Yeah.
true, yeah.
I don't think that Asari themselves would have any sense of that as much as we do in the human society, because first of all, being monogendered as a species, the idea of like
they
being
wouldn't really have a
transgender and such,
concept of
like it's already like a very fluid thing for them, whether or not and also sexuality, the fact that they kind of bang everyone. I don't
Yeah.
think that it's
Yeah.
like really like that is what makes Asari very interesting. I think is that in a way they are both like, here are the people that are the biggest showcase of LGBT in our universe, but they're at the same time also the ones that are least representative of it, in a sense.
Yeah.
I think like because they are like as they are described, as you described, in terms of representation with the characters here, count, but it's just when it comes to alien species, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David.
I would love to see. This is evil, but I would love to see PB only like she only prefers men because everyone is expecting her to be the bisexual option because she's a sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe they have preferences as well. You know, no,
Yeah.
I don't like females that way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That is a soft.
Sorry if I'm breaking all the lesbian hearts.
well,
here.
It's
I actually was trying to do that purposely in Mass Effect season 1 in the campaign. I purposely made the two Asari, one happened to be female and one happened to be transitioned male. We're not going to talk about the logistics.
Let's not go.
But I specifically made the female Asari only prefer men, and I specifically made the male one only prefer women on purpose, and that led to some very difficult things with some of the main characters, because one of the main characters really wanted to romance the female as a female.
Poor Akara.
Yes, but I had decided ahead of time this is her sexuality, or that like this is what she prefers, and she can't back out of it because that's realistic. That's real.
Yeah.
So
that is the thing. I hope they will like make the alien species deeper in that sense instead of like as kind of flat as they have been.
Arya T'Loak only liked women or females. She was strictly lesbian.
But Shepard was not part of that, and I'm still angry about that.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and see if we can go to another topic. So does anyone in the panel?
I just had one thing to
Okay.
say before. I'm interested about romancing Lexi because from what the developers said, she's the first face you see when Ryder wakes up. So Lexi is the first one they see when. But then they did mention Lexi has a crush on Drax. So how's that gonna work out?
I still think that
interesting.
I still am expecting her to be a romanceable in some way. I'm still expecting that.
Considering how big an actor they put in for that character specifically, if they would admit that would almost be like we're going to spend a fuck ton of money on something we aren't using. Like in a business, like from a business standpoint, it would make more sense for them to at least have the options. But yeah, I don't know.
I like how Hark is trying to move away from the romance talk, but you know you have 9 people.
That's completely.
Like, it's not
I have a topic.
A huge
I have a topic
worms.
that will take us away from this. BioWare has stated that I think I might be a little bit wrong here, but I think they said that the smallest planet that you're able to explore in Andromeda is bigger than the entirety of Inquisition. And I personally fucking hate that idea.
But we have a rover, so like we can drive like for 2 minutes, and it's gonna be like
sure. But how big and empty will it be? And like as much as I like enjoy certain open world games, big and empty is not usually.
But think of the hinterland options. Oh,
we already all the way back in Mass Effect 1 had open world areas that were just big sprawling empty areas, and they were all bland, boring, and annoying to traverse.
Okay, let's.
That might just because Shepard is a shit driver.
How many people on the panel? How many people in the panel in general really like open world games? I'm just curious, as a show of hands. Okay.
A little bit.
Really like them. All right. So, but I think what Malik is saying, you like open world game. You can like open world games as long as they are not empty and they actually are. They're densely populated with meaningful things. Correct?
Yeah. When the open world is living in a way. Like I still
Right.
think that the best open world game to be released is Witcher 3 because it populates its open world with lots of like meaningful side quests and people that you meet no matter how you traverse, and each of them have their own unique story and such. If they do that, and if they're able to do that in a world as vast as they're claiming Andromeda to be, then yeah,
Gotcha.
sure, I will be all there with them and hyping it up. But
Before we dive headfirst into this topic, I do want to pause for a moment because there are people on the chats, I think, who want to join in. So if anyone in the panel who has been with us from the beginning, if any of you are
I
willing
have
to bow out.
said my part on this topic specifically,
Okay.
so I can drop out if you.
Okay, if Malik, if you could be kind enough to drop out, and I know
I
that.
started the subject, so now I'd be
Yes.
curious to see how people react.
Okay, Shay Vaz, if you're on, you should have gotten an email with my link. So once Malik Malik has already dropped out. So Shay Vaz, if you want to join in, please drop in using the link that I emailed you with. Anyone else who is interested in joining us in this panel, if you just started watching us recently and didn't know, you are invited to come hang out with us. If you want to, please send me a private message through YouTube with your email address if you haven't already sent me your email address before, and I'll start rotating people out who have been with us since the very beginning. So I'm sorry.
I'll take this up.
Oh, you're gonna pop out? Okay. Thank you so
I'll
much
take
for
this
hanging out.
opportunity to pop out as well. So, but yes, I've sent my piece with the characters. So
okay,
there you go.
Thank you,
All right,
Carlo.
thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
So
Bye.
we have
Bye.
Thank you so much, Carlo. Have a good night. So we have at least
night.
one more slot open now that Carlo is dropping out. If any of you wants to join us, again, private message me your email address.
Join us.
Yes. Join the sexiness that is this entire panel. So
this is Shepard's favorite hangout. Just remember that.
I see Devin. Devin's like, hello. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the train of thought. So talking about the open world design of this game and how they're trying to make it even bigger than Inquisition. Thoughts on that?
Well, you are explorers exploring a new galaxy.
True.
It makes sense that you would explore, that one would indeed explore. And sometimes planets are just not populated. They're just barren rocks in the center of space.
Also true.
Optionally floating around a sun. So, yeah.
Other thoughts?
Honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like open world, but if you're only limited to for a certain period of time, I think that's good, in my opinion, because, like I said, I like open world just a little bit. But if you make it too open world, like, say, Skyrim, then we're going to be running into problems.
We could be running into problems if people keep just talking my game. I love Skyrim. You can't take it away from me, Mark. You can't.
I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Skyrim, but it just...
No, you already said your piece.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. Now I feel like the bad guy.
You are the bad guy.
Oh.
Okay, give me a moment.
Okay, was it Kiwi who was trying to say something or Jess trying to say something? Okay.
No, I think I was.
Okay.
I'm concerned because
You're a little soft, Devin. Can you increase the volume of your microphone a little bit? Yeah, you're still really soft. I can try to increase it. Hold on. I can try to increase you more manually.
I don't know how I can make it louder.
Try it again.
How about now?
It's a little bit better, but just try to speak as loud as you can. Go ahead.
So, like, the only thing that concerns me when I hear it's even bigger than before is like processing, like the computer aspects of it. Like, is it gonna be able to keep up?
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I'm not an expert in the field, but
Devin.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
Devin.
Yeah, I couldn't get it.
If you couldn't get it, what Devin said is his main concern was the the technology, like the processing power, and would it be able to keep up with however large these worlds apparently are? I would like to believe with the Frostbite engine, it should be okay. I'd like to believe.
Well, we won't know until we get the game.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I don't think that will be a problem.
I think that for me, I'm not the open worldedness of games is my least favorite of many games in the past, and it's mostly because I tend to be more of a completionist than I'm not, and so because I'm a completionist, I like having plenty of things to do, but within reasonable, manageable, digestible pieces. So if I end up with a game that has so much to do and so much to explore, it overwhelms me. So it interferes with my completionist because I want to do everything, but if it's overwhelming, then I hate it, and that's my biggest fear with a game like that. So
I think that Mass Effect 3 did it well. I mean, got some side quests. Mass Effect 2 as well. There's going to be some exploring. We know this. I think it even said that you can go down to barren planets and do some, like, collect resources. I think, don't quote me on that. But hopefully it's just a hub where you collect quests and then you can go out into the open world and you can go to this point, do this quest, go to this point, do this quest, and hopefully they are at least somewhat meaningful. They give some kind of story. So, and I'm totally with Hawk that if it becomes too much, I'm just gonna shut down because it's too much, like Skyrim.
Same here. I mean, as I said, I love Skyrim, but if it's too open world, then again, problems.
Yeah, I think the problem is I don't want it to be a time sink, and that goes with even games that have quests. But then if they become too fetch questy, if they don't really add to the story, which I think is what a lot of us, at least on the panel, like about these games, is the story is important and the character development is important. If the quest that you're doing doesn't really add enough to that, or if it's too repetitious, then we feel the developers are better off focusing their time and resources and energy on other things, not the stuff that ends up being repetitious. So
exactly.
Hopefully they've learned a little bit from Dragon Age Inquisition.
Hopefully.
Yeah, cross your fingers on that.
I like the side quests, but I guess I'm just better at compartmentalizing, like putting on the blinders and just focusing in on.
Devin, did you have something to say?
I was going to say, I didn't have nothing really on this topic. I was going to think about another topic, but you can go on.
We have a new panelist. Is it Gary?
Yeah, it's Gary.
Hi, Gary. Can you please? You're breaking up a little bit, but hopefully things will adjust.
Oh.
It's a little staticky, but can you tell us where you're?
Sorry.
No problem. Can you tell us where you're from?
I'm from Malaysia. I joined once before, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Malaysia. Cool.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
Gary, do you have any thoughts on the open world aspect of this game?
Well, since it is running similarly on the Frostbite engine, which is like Dragon Age, I guess I'm going to wonder how different it's going to be from what it was the open world in Inquisition as well. Like, it's definitely going to be different. It kind of how Hinterlands was kind of open, so you can keep coming back to it and build newer high-level content as well, or keep revisiting areas. And they have pocket kind of instances. So I'm hoping that over the years, as they've developed the engine, they are extrapolating what they've learned from Inquisition. And I do like an open world, but I do want to hear a story. And an open world can have too many pockets of individual stories that might not seem as coherent on the whole. So
Sorry, Gary, you're breaking up a bit. Hold on
Ouch.
a moment.
Hey guys, I've got to go.
Okay.
It was nice talking with you guys and
All
talking
right.
about
Thank
Andromeda.
you for joining us, Jess.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Gary, sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. You were clear in the middle, and then it started to
Yeah.
break out a
Yeah.
little bit. If it helps at all, maybe you can try to type some of the things that you want to bring up to the group. That might help a little bit, unless we can figure out what's going on with your setup. Did somebody else have another comment?
I usually tend to get lost a lot, and I have zero sense of orientation. Like in open sandbox games, I like them, but I tend to get lost like a whole lot, and finding my way back is pretty hard. I do remember Morrowind, even with like no quest markers, and completely lost in the middle of wilderness was not nice.
Yeah, me too, Kiwi. That's the problem with me, because I don't like getting lost a whole lot, and if there's no objective marker that I'll be following, or if there's no fast travel system, then yeah, I would be going in circles.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and while I let's play the game, if I feel like it's too much, you'll definitely hear me complaining about it. So, Devin, go ahead.
I don't really have much to say on this topic. I've said my piece, really.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we move on to a different topic?
Great, try speaking.
Gavin, looks like.
Or
go ahead. I'm sorry. I think Gavin was about to say something.
I was just gonna say, Andromeda, I think would be a good idea is to have smaller, or this is what in my mind would be great, because yeah, you're supposed to be an explorer, but there's also the thing of like spending a lot of time just wasting or going from this place and getting this resource and having the like of no use and like side quest to get like a little bit of XP or a resource or whatever. What I think would be a cool idea is if you had your main hub area in like whatever world you go to, and then you could sprout off and go to like little side areas, kind of like you could do it like if you had done a mission on the Citadel in Mass Effect 2, like you would like unlock an area to go to, and like let's say you're on this planet and then you come back later and you have a quest for it and opens a new area. It kind of like there's a Dark Souls thing where like all of the world slowly can like you open it slowly, like you'll have your small hub world and then like you have like this place out here, and then when you come back to it you unlock another place during a certain quest, and like you make a shortcut between those areas. Just something like that. I don't think you're supposed to be a finder, like getting lost for hours and hours might not be a fun thing.
Other thoughts before we move on? Does anyone in the panel have another topic or question they would like to bring to the table? Devin?
Yeah, I do. I was, because like I said, when I came to this panel not knowing anything, hearing any details. So like, what have y'all heard about what the story Mass Effect drama is going to be?
The story. Thank you. So, did somebody want to answer that before I do? Did you want to answer?
I got it.
Okay.
I don't know if this is going to be a spoiler. I'm trying to avoid anything from. I know the intro and the first few hours is public knowledge now, but I have somehow avoided it. So
okay. So you want to?
I take off my headphones and.
Okay. Like let's. Why don't we save the story discussion for near the end?
I'm real sorry, but
no, that's fine.
Good idea.
I think that actually a lot of people who are watching might appreciate that we isolate that near the end as well.
Yeah.
So let's table that till later, and then we can talk more about what we know about nothing. There's a lot that we don't know, which is a good thing. But there are some basic story elements that have been revealed that we could talk about later. So,
All right.
good question though, Devin. We'll just save it for later. So,
Yeah.
thank you, David, for bringing that up because that's a very good, valid point.
Yeah.
I think I saw Gavin raise up his hand about a question or topic.
I was just going to say, excuse me, something we might have to say for the end, because I was thinking, what do you think of with the main enemy? Like, I was going to talk about the main enemy of the game, the cat, but I'm not sure if we want to wait till the end.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
that
save
would be
that till
going
the
into
end.
spoiler territory there
let's
too.
save that to the end. Did somebody
I
else have one that has nothing story related? Go ahead, Kiwi.
I have something. Character creation.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
there are
Ah,
many
my
things-
favorite part.
Yes. I've heard many things about it, and like one thing I discovered is that what the devs said on Twitter is that the writer will be able to have a lot more eccentric hairstyles or
Okay.
clothes that Shepard could not have gone away with.
Interesting.
They said also possibility of scars, tattoos, and colored hair.
We're getting feedback from someone. Sorry.
I think that's Devin. Yeah, you're getting all
Alright.
staticky.
Okay.
Am I-
Okay. It stopped. Whatever happened. Whoever just did something, it stopped. I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Scars, tattoos, and colored hair as well. So,
Ooh.
yay! I'm gonna start with a pink hair rider. I'm gonna be me.
To piggyback off of that, you can choose, of course, between the male or female writer, and you can, just like in Fallout 4, you can customize both the male and female, regardless of whether or not you select the male or female. You can customize both, which means that your father's appearance will be based on the appearance of you and your sibling, which I think is going to be really interesting.
His appearance will only be based on the player character.
Will only be. Thank you for correcting me. Which means it could be possible that one of your siblings is adoptive, or maybe not biological. That could be possible, I think.
Or they could also be a possibility of interracial
Sure.
couple, because one of my friends was kind of happy about having the idea that, like, Ryder mom was black, and
Mm-hmm.
so, and like the possibility of, I can't find my words.
Yeah. My intention for my writer is I'm intentionally trying to make that my writer biracial. I was trying to go with an Asian American kind of look for my writer. So we'll see what happens with that, if I can pull it off. But any other, we don't really know much about character
I'm
creation.
wondering if
other
there's
than
going to
that.
be beards.
I'm positive there'll be
I
beards.
But
I think
because
they'll
of the
say that
helmets,
there is going to
I
be
mean,
beards. Yeah.
yeah, might not be as,
Narrator already had some scruff.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean longer beards. But I don't think that's going to be a thing because of the helmets.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
So,
good point.
David, you're asking real questions. Where are the beards? I need my beards in
Yeah.
in Mass
This
Effect.
works.
No,
if you're-
big long beard. I want to make Scruffy Rider.
If you're considering, if you're worried about, fitting beards into your helmet, have you seen Liam and his hair? Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
wild.
Somehow he fits that in a helmet. So, hey,
Yeah, that's
Mikey.
true.
Oh, hello.
Hey everybody, how's everyone doing?
It's my other favorite Irishman. I know Gavin and Mikey are like rivals.
Yeah.
I think I win. I mean, hey Gavin, do you want to like meet in the back of the local bar there and get in a fight real quick?
Yeah, because that's what we
No,
do.
no,
That's
sort
what
of-
the Irish people.
Can I watch?
It's sort of the old-fashioned Irish way, right? Here's how this will work: we'll buy each other a drink,
We don't
go
even
outside and
fight. We
fight. Then we'll come back in and fight. Then we'll come back in and buy ourselves another drink and then hug it out.
exactly,
This is how
man.
it
That's
works.
exactly what we do. That's exactly what we
Oh
do.
my goodness.
Yes.
Mikey, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from, please?
God bless the Irish.
God bless the Irish.
God bless the Irish. My name is Mikey. You can call me Love Sniping. You can call me Stick, as in the guy from Daredevil, the television series. Yes. Yeah, I'm from Ireland. That's about it. I got a new microphone, so brand new crisp audio quality.
Welcome to the live stream. Would it be possible to have. I do have one more person who wants to join in, and we're filled up. So would anyone who's been with us from the beginning be willing to bow out? Otherwise,
I'll drop.
You'll drop. Okay. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us today.
Bye, Mark.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
Nice to meet you, Mark. Alex Plays, if you're watching, Alex, I did get your message. I just need you to please message me your email address. And once you message me your email address, then I can send you an invite to the chat. So thank you. And I think Che is still trying to get himself set up. So what were we talking about again? I got distracted.
Oh,
Fire.
The two Irishmen, talking about fighting each other distracted me. I was like,
I don't even remember.
We were talking about beard.
Talking about
We were talking about
Liam
beards.
fitting his hair inside of his helmet.
Beards. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
Liam fitting his hair in his helmet, and specifically because David wanted beards in the character creation. I'd be shocked if there wasn't some form of beard, but hopefully it'll be the length will
I
be.
mean, Scott Ryder's got a fairly scraggly beard, at least compared to Shepard's 5 o'clock shadow.
True.
Now we can have that Chinese beard. You know,
Chinese beard.
long, gray. You just need to roll it up before you
Yes.
put your helmet on.
Well, you can use it as a belt. It attaches to your armor and gives you a +4 to charisma.
The interesting thing about the game, and I don't know if this is necessarily in character creation, but so again, you cannot import your saves from the trilogy. However, you do get asked at some point if Shepard was male or female. That may just so that you know what gender to refer to him or her as in the story. That might mean something else. I don't know. But that is the only thing that I think you can do since you can't import your save from Mass Effect 3.
Though Dragon Age Keep did say something about having something similar for Mass Effect.
Yes.
So maybe we're going to have, I don't know, a Mass Effect Keep or a...
Yeah,
I would say spaceport would be a more accurate word, but yeah.
Mass-
I can
yes.
see that.
Oh!
So I think
prefer Mass Effect Citadel.
Mass Effect Citadel.
That's effective.
But yes, I think that this might not be a trilogy per se, but this may be a launching point for a new, set of save imports that you can import to whatever the next game is going to be. Most likely, it'll still take place on Andromeda. Most likely.
Well, what I was,
They
what I
have
know
said
of,
that there is a background story that's going to play out through the games. So
what I do know
Mikey.
about what I do know about Andromeda at the very least when it comes to starting is that it's before even the Arrival DLC of Mass Effect 2. So technically, if you're going to import a save, it's going to be Mass Effect 2 save, which will be weird.
That would be interesting, actually. Other thoughts?
I've got a question for you, Hark. On a scale of 1 to Colin, how bay is Liam?
On a scale of 1 to Colin?
Yes.
See, the thing with Liam is, right now I don't see. I don't know who that is. Somebody turn something off. Thank you.
Reapers.
Yes, thank you, Devin. I actually currently, without really knowing him very well, I'm not romantically interested in Liam yet. I see him currently. I currently see him as more of a bro at the moment. So
yeah, he has that very Jimmy Vega way about him.
Yeah, I'm not currently romantically interested, but then again, who knows what'll happen when I actually start to get to know him.
On point. I love
his voice is cool. I do like his voice a lot.
There are two voices so far that I've discovered that make me melt, and I will admit this as a man. It's Liam and Vetra. Those two just make me just curl up and want to just listen to them talk. Like, I don't know, want to listen to them tell me stories all night long.
Kettle corn.
I find it ironic that Mikey is talking about voices that make him melt when I'm like listening to his voice and I'm like, So, what did you say, Mikey?
I'm gonna duck out. Good stream.
All right, Gavin.
The voices.
Till the next one. Goodbye. Now you've only got Mikey to listen to. I'm so sorry. Goodbye.
I had you both for just a few minutes, but that's okay. See you, Gavin. Oh, Mikey, you scared him away.
I am intimidating him with my smooth, silky voice.
The fight's been won.
Yes, and I won on endurance.
On endurance. Any other questions? Any other things before we move on to a non-story related topic? Okay. Does anyone have any non-story related topics left before we start to get to the story related topics? Anything? Go ahead, Mikey, since you just came in.
So I haven't been here for 2 hours, so I don't know if you guys have discussed gameplay yet. But my God, it looks so smooth.
We talked about combat specifically, but if you want to give your thoughts on gameplay in general, please do.
Well, from what we've seen of the Nomad, from what we've seen of the Tempest, and what we've seen of on foot stuff, it looks a lot smoother than Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3. It looks like something that's literally been made on a brand new engine with brand new tech in mind. It looks good. I hope it feels as good. That's all I want. I want to be able to play the game as well as it looks. Mass Effect 1, where I'm like, oh no, another Mako section. Please murder me now.
I do agree with you. When I was watching the trailers, everything looked very silky smooth, which I was very happy about. I don't know how everybody others thoughts on that in general, not necessarily just combat, but just the look of the game in general.
I do like the added mobility there, factoring into combat.
Mm-hmm. The jump jet is a very interesting and very unique addition, because you can not just jump up, you can actually hover with it, which is cool.
Should help me katana people real good.
Oh yeah.
Just remember this. I'm one of those guys who like my cover. I like to be on the ground. So when you do all those freaking jumping puzzles, it's your fault that we have those freaking jump jets.
We're just watching
Like
Davis
jump-
Let's Play just to see him rate puzzles.
Jump pillars to get this loot up here. I'm like, I hate everything about this game right now. No.
I hate
No,
life.
I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be great.
David hands the mouse and keyboard over to somebody else. Just do this section for me.
Yeah, please, come on. No, it's gonna be amazing. Probably, yeah. Just as long as I can stick to cover.
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll be the judge of that. Yes.
I mean, we can always stick to. Well, there's no such thing as sticky cover anymore. It's more of like a smooth in, smooth out, like Mass Effect 1 that actually works. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I pray.
Hopefully.
We pray.
Please go ahead, Shogun.
So I think we've exhausted the art.
We've exhausted the.
I think we've exhausted the arsenal, because all I can think of is this. The screen title looks cool.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
What about
So the
story?
story option arc?
Yeah,
I got a good final question
no,
for everyone. I think
it's
they'll
my
like this
time.
question.
Yeah, well, wait. Mikey, do you have a non-story question?
Yeah, I have one last story, one question. I think everyone will like this question. Who, out of all the characters we've seen so far, has the coolest armor?
Coolest armor?
Liam.
Vetra?
Yeah.
Oh,
Vetra.
no. Jal, have you seen the little, like... It looks like a
His
coat.
cape. Yeah,
it
his
looks so
cape.
cozy.
No, I like Vetra's, because Vetra is probably going to be my mainstay of my squad, because she is the tank. So I will probably have her a lot.
Oh, there it is.
There, it's
I
working.
see you, Shavaz. I see you. Okay. Alex plays, by the way, if you're still watching, I should have sent you the link to our Hangout. So please jump in whenever you can. And this is the last call. I think we're going to start moving towards the end when we're going to talk about story soon. So if this is the final call for anyone who wants to join in our Hangout for the end, please send me a message, a YouTube message, private message with your email address, and I will send you a Hangout. Other answers for the coolest armor? Anyone else?
Drak is pretty metal.
Okay.
Yeah. He's pretty
Bow.
metal. He's also got the like really weird like ice goatee thing going on. You know.
Che, is your microphone working, Che? Or Shavaz? I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name as well. Can you hear us? Okay, I still think he's still adjusting some things. But anyway, go ahead, everybody.
Sorry,
I can't really comment on armor. What?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Devin.
I can't really comment on armor because the only pictures I've seen it focus more on the faces, but yeah. So I have to agree though about well, actually, Drax thing with like the kind of like thing is going on.
And the bone.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Alex, welcome,
Yes.
Alex. Oh wow.
Hi guys.
Would you
Oh my
like
God, I
to?
hope I'm not being too loud.
No, Alex, your voice is
Okay.
crystal clear, man. I'm loving it.
Great.
What is your? Could you please introduce yourself to us?
Yes. Hi guys. Name's Alex. I am 26 and I'm from Poland. So good evening to you guys, as it is currently 7:30 p.m. over here.
And for those of you who've been looking at the recent tabletop auditions, he's Repel Mark, which I love. Repel Mark, but that's a totally different topic. So we're gonna jump off of that and go back into Andromeda. But thank you for joining us, Alex.
Oh shit! I better get
Happy to
involved
be
in
here.
it. Well, I'm not the party.
So anyone else has a non-story related topic or question? Anyone?
But do you guys think we're still going to have the Paragon or Renegade interrupts?
There are going to be interrupts.
We have the interrupts.
They say that
They're
they
no longer
are
Paragon
completely-
or Renegade.
They are just neutral. You can disarm somebody or you can leave them alone. It's a case of it's basically a case of you have interrupts, but they don't have a blue or red associated with them.
I think the type's indicated by they have new symbols to indicate, are you doing action or are you doing diplomatic or are you confusing someone or are you saying a whippy joke or sarcasm?
It's like 4 different tones. There's like professional, casual. Oh god, why? My brain. I did a 12-hour shift today. Leave me alone.
You're good.
You're good.
Yeah, it's like there's 4 different tonalities instead of Paragon and Renegade. So you have the 4 tones, each different corner, basically.
So kind of like how they did in Inquisition.
Yeah, and they have symbols that you can turn on and off, much to David's, I imagine, likeness. Because I remember he mentioned he didn't like the symbols in Dragon Age 2 and Origin and in Inquisition, but you know, I like them, so they're nice to have.
Gary, who is in our panel right now, just typed the question: is there going to be overhead tactical view? I'm assuming similar to the Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition.
It would be interesting, but I don't think so.
That would be kind of great, though.
It would.
I think I think a lot of people would like it if that was an option. But I think historically, I feel like historically Mass Effect is more towards the first-person shooter kind of game, even though it's a third-person shooter. So I am doubtful that they will introduce something like that, like they did in Inquisition.
It's more of an action adventure than it is an action RPG.
Right. So unfortunately, most likely not.
Yes.
Great. I think I'm gonna bow out.
Okay.
Have a
Davey.
nice evening for me at least.
Thank you, David. Now, how will we know what the correct answers are or the correct
Well,
opinions
just
are?
have to figure it out.
I know.
We'll just ignore David's opinion.
So,
They're
David,
usually wrong
before
anyway.
you leave, David, and if you don't want to answer this question here, I understand.
Okay.
Have you thought about let's playing this on your channel? Let's playing this game.
Yes, I'll probably let's play it. Yeah.
You saw it here, folks. Reclusiarch is back.
Back into
We have
Mass Effect.
witnesses
That'll be
now.
awesome.
All right.
All right.
Hopefully, we'll be able to hold you to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right.
We
See
will
ya.
find you and we will hurt you if you don't do it.
See you, David.
I'm out.
Gary was asking what David's channel is. It's Reclusiarch. I'll try to put a link. I'll put a link in the description when this gets posted. What his channel is. But Reclusiarch. It's spelled RECLUS or David Anderson. Excuse me. Look up David Anderson. I think with 2 S's in Anderson. I think. But I'll link it. So.
Because those crazy Scandinavians and their S's.
David Anderson was actually one of the people who inspired me to do Let's Plays in the first place. So he and I are very good friends. So now let's talk about story, shall we?
Yeah.
Yay!
So
And as one last point on David, you also destroyed his heart and soul in your first Dragon Age campaign. There also is that. So
destroyed his heart and soul in my. Oh,
your
okay.
first Dragon Age campaign, you did that. I remember the tears. They were manly tears of manliness.
Oh,
Oh, the tears.
yes, I missed that.
I'm currently rewatching the Mass Effect one.
Devin, there's a little bit more.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I know. Yes. Yeah, Devin, if you could just maybe only unmute yourself when you're talking, that might be helpful. That might be a little bit better. So what I wanted to say is, for those of you who are worried about spoilers, we're not going to talk about anything that hasn't been officially released yet. So please, everyone's on the channel, just talk about what's been officially released. If something leaked and probably wasn't something that was officially released by BioWare but got leaked, I'd rather you don't talk about it here. I'd much rather you only talk about what's been officially released in the trailers and such. So just so people understand, if you want to stop at this point, I think we're just going to talk about the story for the rest of the Hangout. So if you want to bow out of this now, for those of you who are watching, feel free to bow out if you don't want to know anything at all about the story before going into the game. Shogun, you have your hand raised.
Can I make predictions afterwards?
Yes, you can make predictions. Predictions are okay. Let's save the predictions for the end then, in case one of us is right and we end up inadvertently spoiling the game. So
someone figures out the ending of the game by themselves, and we all just meet up in a hangout.
You ruined Inquisition for me, Hark.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
What was the point? I just had to burn my copy because what was the point?
Yes, that was an accident. I didn't realize I was right. I'm sorry. Anyway, if you don't want Inquisition to be spoiled, apparently don't watch me play any of the Dragon Age 2 DLCs if you don't want Inquisition spoiled. But anyway, because apparently I guessed something correctly. But back to Andromeda story. So does anyone want to give a general explanation of what they've released about the story thus far? I think Mike is raising his hand right now. Go ahead, Mike.
So, as for what they've released so far, we all know that in about the year 2183 or 84, sometime between Mass Effect 2 and 3, just before the Arrival DLC canonically happens, this initiative gets together called the Andromeda Initiative. And they decide, hey, let's fling all these people out into space and send them to the Andromeda Galaxy, about 600 years of travel away. So they set all this up, and they send these people out, and we arrive there, and everything goes to shit. To say it, without any real mediocre medium there. Basically, you arrive there, your father is your Ark's Pathfinder. There are 4 Arks, one for each council race: human, Turian, Asari, and Solarian. What else?
The other one.
There are 4 different Pathfinders. There's your father, which is the human for that arc. There is a Turian. There is a Krogan. No, I don't think there's a Krogan Pathfinder. No, there's a Solarian Pathfinder, and there's an Asari Pathfinder. You basically have to find any planet that can be habitable in the Andromeda Galaxy specifically, or any race specifically that's from the Milky Way. We don't have any confirmation on any other races from the Milky Way, so we don't know about any Quarians or anything else. We do know, though, that is confirmed that there is no Reapers, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone else wants to skip in here and add in anything else.
Mark, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. I think that in the story that I don't want to spoil it, but something goes wrong with the human arc.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what it is, but something bad happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that.
So what is the Ark?
The Ark is this big hulking ship that has a large collection of humans on it. It's this giant ship that they just fling out into space and say, send you to Andromeda. Basically.
Did you want to answer that question about the Arks too, Malik? Did you want to answer that too? Go ahead, answer.
Basically, if you know the tale of Noah's Ark in the Bible, it's that bad for humans going to Andromeda.
But there's multiple arcs. I think there's 4 arcs.
There's 4 arcs, one for each of the council races.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And so like instead of having only 2 humans, it has a plethora of humans.
Right. So a
Oh,
bunch
it's
of
genetic diversity, basically.
That's what I thought you were talking about when you said arc, but I didn't know if it was like a group
yes.
known as arc or
But
something
then
like that.
there are the 4 primary arcs, and then each of them also apparently has a few people of other races as
Right.
well, since there are both Salarians and Krogans with us as well. We don't
Right.
I
have
have no idea on
specific
any other confirmed races. We literally
Yeah.
don't know anything about the Quarians, the Hanar,
Yeah.
the Grell, any of those.
The arcs are designed specifically so that it allows the council races to live in them. Like the environment is set for them specifically. So the human arc, the Asari arc, the Turian arc, and the Solarian arc.
Solarian.
Yes, thank you. Those are the 4 arcs. But like Malik said, that doesn't mean that other races can't also be on the arc. It's just they were designed specifically for the comfort
basically,
of those races.
I mean, from what I understand, there are only really like 2 races that can't actually join on this expedition, and that is the Volus, who need their special pressurized suits to actually be able to walk around outside of an Amenia-based.
Right.
And
the
one other
Quarian,
race.
Right.
which
Well,
we
technically
discussed
you could
earlier.
technically, you could cryo-freeze a Quarian. But
Yeah.
Right. We did talk about the Quarians and
Considering the fact that both Turians and Quarians are dextro-based species, there might be Quarians on the Turian arc. We don't know, because we actually don't know anything about the other arcs.
Has not been confirmed. We do not know.
Yeah.
From the trailers, there's a concept called, I think, Golden Systems. I think there's like
Golden Worlds.
Golden Worlds. So there's like
Yeah.
7 golden worlds.
They are the habitats, quote unquote,
Right.
that we are being sent to investigate.
Right, specifically for humans. We believe that these golden worlds may be best suited for humans to call their new home, so that they can have an Earth 2.0. I think they're called it Eden something. I forgot what they call it. Eden
Like
something.
those 7 new planets that NASA just discovered. Like,
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Hey, what do you know?
Like those 7 new planets.
But
So
yeah,
so I am
there is a funny little thing in that. Turians kind of have a little bit of an advantage in that they are dextro based, so that way they get all the dextro based planets, and we're stuck with having to share with the Solarians and the Asari because they're all Mino based as well.
Sharing is caring.
So is
True
banging.
So the what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. So somebody else go ahead and talk, because I forgot what I was gonna say.
So past that, then we discover that there are these things already living in Andromeda. Surprise, surprise! People don't like it when you invade them. They decide, you know what? We don't like you, so we're gonna say no. No, you're not allowed. No, thank you. Leave. We don't want any Girl Scout cookies.
which gives us
Them Thin Mints though.
which gives us our primary enemy and our primary ally in Andromeda. The Jal rays, which is our allies, and the
Angara.
Yeah, and then the whatever they're called, the Drax?
The cat.
The cat. Oh yeah, yes. The cats. The nuts collectors, as I call them.
Yes. Thank you, Gary, for saying that. I do hope in our last hangout, since we were talking about something that Mike just mentioned, Miss Diani said something really cool, which I hope that becomes an aspect in this game, is the gray area of what exactly we're doing, because technically we are invading this other galaxy. So she kind of wants us to realize that we're not necessarily the good guys and they are necessarily the bad guys, because
they just don't want us to call them
right. So hopefully the plot touches on that sure, we might consider ourselves to be the good people, but think about it. Are we really the good people by coming in here, like expecting?
From what I understand, that's kind of why that would be a decent reason as to why they removed Paragon and Renegade. You're not necessarily being an entirely paragonic person. You're still going to hurt people. You're still going to end up having to kick people off their own homeworlds or kick them out of their houses to find land for your own people to live in. But
we're
hey,
space fighting.
No, I was going to say we're space Europeans and they're Native Americans.
Oh no!
Oh God! Really?
Yes.
God!
Even better. Even better.
It's like accurate to me. We're literally just going. You don't want us to live here? Fine.
It's like the Fereldans and the Avarians. Oh my God!
We're space white people.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
gosh. Oh gosh.
I think Devin
Oh,
was
Liam
trying to
is-
say something. Go ahead, Devin.
Oh no, I was just saying I agree with. I was just saying that I agree with what he was saying about how we're basically the Europeans in this group.
Okay. So we're like the Europeans in this group. Okay.
So quick question actually.
Go ahead, Alex.
As someone who has never played a Mass Effect game before,
Ooh.
and I'm sorry, Hark, I still haven't watched it yet. I just didn't have the time yet.
You don't have to.
Can someone give me like a basic rundown of the story thus far?
So
I got
let's do
you.
this. Mass
I
Effect-
got you.
Mass
Big
Effect 1.
spoiler
Okay.
alert for those who haven't played the Mass Effect.
One
I got-
person at a time.
All these
Yeah, one
spoilers,
person.
All of them.
Let
I'm gonna let Shogun do it. Let Shogun do it.
Shogun do it. Yes.
Okay, so here's the story. You go to a planet called Eden Prime. You find a giant MacGuffin stuck in the ground. Just a giant plot device made to make you the main hero. So you touch it, and a bunch of magic alien stuff happens. And then you go off, find out the Reapers, a space armada of evil darkspawn like proportions that come around and destroys everything for some convoluted reason, apparently to stop a synthetic human war that always happens. But that's getting ahead of myself. You go off, you do a bunch of Spectre things. Spectre, your alien council, with humans wishing to become part of it, looking for a seat on the council. But that's a bunch of politics. So you go around doing a bunch of Spectre stuff. You kill a Reaper who's using Geth, alien race of synthetic hybrids that are made by Corians who used it to.
Right. They're Terminators,
But
basically.
then-
They're robots. Go ahead.
Okay.
But then in Mass Effect 2, starts with you dying, but you got better. And so you end up coming back and stopping another alien threat called the Collectors, who are the Reapers, but they're not because they're puppets controlled by the Reapers. But so you do that by going through a relay that looks a lot like the other relays, except it's red, so you know it's bad. And it's called the Omega 4 relay. You go through it on a suicide mission, but if you do it right, aka play all the content the creator spent so much time working on, you lazy piece of crap, you go, if you do all that, you can go through the bad relay, destroy the Collectors, and then you can start on Mass Effect 3, and you have the privilege of playing a great game until the end, which turns into a complete piece of crap of convoluted mess, confusion, and for some reason, a child is ruler of the Reapers? So after that, funny story, that didn't happen, because in Mass Effect Andromeda, your guys go on launch before Mass Effect 3, so any choice you had then probably won't have any impact on Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
Matter of fact, you can't import your save at all, so it's more than likely that you cannot have any impact. Any of your choices made in the original choices will have any impact on the Mass Effect Andromeda series.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. So I mean, I
Explained like that, the
remember.
game doesn't seem that great.
Yes,
that's
I mean, basically what I heard is
Bro.
you find this thing, and then shit happens. You get a magical girl transformation. Then you could go and do cool stuff, mix with politics, and then you do more cool stuff, and then you die, and then you come back with another magical girl transformation, and you do more cool stuff, and then the bad guys are actually controlled by a little child. Okay.
Basic of it.
Well,
I did skip the part where
try to quickly as
where-
I can. Mass Effect 1,
well,
you
I
start
did
off
skip the
as
part
just-
where the Reapers invade. They're a big, gigantic armada that nobody can beat. But with the help of a MacGuffin, it all works out.
Let me please, because we don't have Gary is challenged in being able to communicate with us. Let me read what Gary said, just so that he has a voice here, please. Mass Effect Andromeda is set in the uncharted territory of the Helios cluster of the Andromeda Galaxy. It takes place 600 years after the events of the original Mass Effect trilogy, specifically kind of during Mass Effect 2, as the journey from the Milky Way galaxy to Andromeda would have taken roughly that long, and the Andromeda Initiative initially sailed around the same time as the events of Mass Effect 2, like I said. So the only thing that you really need to know going into the Andromeda game, Alex, is that there's this stuff is threatening the whole galaxy. People are worried that the galaxy is going to be completely obliterated. One of the reasons I think why the initiative to Andromeda was created was sort of like a just in case situation. Hey, if this galaxy is going to be destroyed, maybe the next galaxy over Andromeda would be safe. So they made these giant arcs full of different races of creatures.
So basically, it's a repopulation program which other races might perceive as an invasion. Thus, is essentially a gray area.
Yes.
So we might not actually be the good guys.
In general, you don't need to know anything about the original trilogy to play this game because of the events being so
invalidated,
basically circumvented.
So far removed.
Yes.
It's like saying that in order to play Skyrim, you need to have played all previous Elder Scrolls games, which you don't.
Yes, actually.
No.
Exactly. So you can start Andromeda as your first Mass Effect game and play it and be completely happy and not knowing anything about the original trilogy, which had.
I'm sure there'll be like I'm sure there'll be like things you can read. They'll catch you up in the history.
Yes, lore books, of course. Same as, for example, I played Elder Scrolls Online for a long time. And actually, lore in that game taught me more about the world of Tamriel than Skyrim, Morrowind, and Oblivion together.
Well, the Elder Scrolls is a very complex thing. So I think I'll take time to explain it to the audience. Okay, basically you start off.
No.
Yeah, thank you though, Shogun. You had a very entertainingly accurate rundown of the Massive Trilogy. But anyway, getting back to Andromeda and the story, other thoughts on the story as they have been presented officially thus far? Yes, Shogun.
I will keep it tame. Don't worry.
Okay.
My throat couldn't handle going on through another thing like that.
Okay.
I'm very. Have we talked about Habitat 7?
We have
no,
not.
we haven't.
Go ahead. Talk about Habitat 7.
Okay. Well, Habitat 7 is the latest. At least by the trailer, it's the latest one we have come to investigate.
To be Earth 2.0, right?
To be Earth 2.0. We have checked out like 6 through 1 apparently were either already inhabited. One of the other arcs beat us to it. And I get one of them probably has the Agora. Am I saying that right?
Angara.
The Agara. And 7 supposedly our next stop. However, things happen. We don't know yet, but we can fairly assume that Archon is there. However, there is something else there as well called the Scourge.
Okay.
That's that black clouds or black pillars of things floating in space.
I was just about to ask that, so thank you.
I think Malik's raising his hand.
As we could also call it, the not Reapers. Because, let's be frank, like from everything they've shown, it's basically the Reapers, but not the Reapers.
Mikey?
I mean,
well, I don't know
we've had like the original
Reaper or not.
gameplay trailer.
Let Malik finish.
We've had the original gameplay trailer, which showed which was shown like back in August, I think.
Yeah, sounds about
But
right.
it was a long time ago, anyway. It was where we see Bro Rider exploring a certain ruin together with some of the team, and it does show like something that is almost the same as the Prothean beacon that you see in Mass Effect 1. So it's like, there is like, from what I can gather, it will follow like similar story beats at least.
Mikey, go ahead.
A lot of the reason behind this exploration, the whole idea behind the exploration, is the precursors who are not the Protheans. As Malik would
Not
probably put it.
Protheans.
Not the Protheans. But basically, a lot of the exploration will be involving these vaults. And that was what the original gameplay trailer was apparently in, a precursor vault.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Scourge. So it could be assumed that the Scourge has some sort of similar methodology or mission of MO as the Reapers did, but it seems a little bit less auto death, for lack of a better term, because from what we've seen, it just looks like you can run away from it pretty quickly, or it's easy to fight because Phoebe shoots it twice and seems to win. So.
Well, all I know is the black mist stuff. That's the Scourge. If the giant robots are connected to it somehow, maybe it is. That is unofficial and would be in prediction territory. So I have no comment on those. I just know that the black mist outside of Habitat 7 and the things that Ryder and Tempest and crew was running away from. I know that though that is what they are calling the Scourge. I do not know what the robots are, what the not Reapers are.
Mikey, go ahead.
We do also see during, I think, one of the cinematic trailers, and during when we see the Mass Effect Andromeda title screen pop up, what looks to be the Scourge, it's like they're like grinding on it, like the ship is like getting caught in it, or they're trying to like push through it for some reason. Maybe it's reacting to them, or maybe it's just a case of, we had to evade through the Scourge because the Scourge is the only thing that can stop us, that can help us get away from Archon and his band of goons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
It looks fairly malignant. Like it just kind of sits there and does very little until you piss it off. So,
Mark,
maybe it's nanomachines.
Oh. Go ahead, Mark.
I'll just respond to Mikey and say, like, I don't know if that is what it's called, the Scourge. I'm thinking it might be debris that's in the galaxy when we're trying to get away from the Ket, and more specifically the Archon. That's just my opinion, though.
But like, it could just be like rogue nanomachines, because it does have that kind of look.
I hope that because they're already introducing the Ket and the Archon in the trailer, I'm hoping that they are not necessarily the final big bad. I'm hoping that that's just a red herring, and that there actually is more of a big bad, and it probably is the Scourge. But
60 minutes into the game, you beat the Archon. And we're like, well, that was boring.
Yes. So, go ahead, Malik.
I don't know. Have any of you seen the new Star Trek movie?
Into Darkness?
Yeah. No, the one after. Yeah.
Don't get into spoilers.
There is a sequence which is like fairly early where there are a big swarm of ships that attack the Enterprise. Like there always is in these movies for some reason. I can't help but feel that it's something maybe similar to that. That is the Scourge.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a swarm of things.
like the collectors. Kind of.
I'm getting a lot of of those similar feelings from it. So I can't say what they are because we don't know, but they do seem very much to follow similar like villain rules, in a sense that both the Reapers and the Collectors did.
Shogun?
Well, stick it with nanomachines for now until it's proven otherwise.
Nanomachines.
Well, regardless of what the Scourge are, I still have to go. So.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so
good
much,
meeting y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice
Au revoir.
Thank you for joining, Seven. Shogun, were you going to say something?
Well, I was going to save this for predictions, but since we're talking about the Scourge now and what they may or may not be.
Yeah, we can go talk about predictions now. Go ahead. So disclaimer: if any of these predictions turn out to be true, don't blame us.
Shogun.
Blame
Shogun.
Shogun. So
We're just
Yeah.
cool.
just
and,
letting you know.
Sorry, hang on.
Yes.
Blame
Fine.
Shogun.
Myself
He's
spoiler-free.
displaying my screen. Blame Shogun.
We're speculating now. Go ahead, Shogun.
the other way, Mikey. You were pointing at me.
Well, it's the order is a little bit different on people's.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Shogun.
My fault.
Yes.
No, Shogun.
Okay,
just give your
I'll accept
prediction.
it. Okay. I at first thought it was like dark matter because EZO or Element Zero releases like dark energy. Dark energy, and that's like how biotics work. I thought it was like a form of dark matter and the Archon. And it also works because the Archon and the cat are like have angel like halos on their heads, and they're like holy, but they're very dark, and dark matter works because it just sounds evil. And since it's a theoretical material that we have no idea what it actually does besides just being there, you can do cool things with it that are maybe scientifically impossible but still cool.
That's a very intelligent prediction, Shogun, and the reason why I think it's an intelligent prediction is because black matter was supposed to be a bigger thing in the original Mass Effect trilogy. You heard about black matter a lot, especially in Mass Effect 2. I actually point that out in several locations during my LP Let's Play. Yes, and it's mentioned several times. And the writers intended for the black matter to matter more in the plot of Mass Effect 3, possibly going as far as having them change the ending a bit so that it didn't involve black matter anymore in the ending.
I do know that originally the ending of Mass Effect 3 and like the whole purpose of the Reapers was supposed to have been that the Reapers existed in order to gather enough intelligence to stop the basically the heat death of the universe, which is what we believe is like the dark energy causing that. And originally the ending would have been like either you let humans be assimilated in the hope that the Reapers then will gain enough intelligence to solve this problem, or kill the Reapers and then in the belief that humanity and the current races are able to discover the solution themselves. So if they bring that back, that could be really cool because it's a lot of like story threads that they place in throughout Mass Effect 2, especially the Tali recruit mission. So like it's a lot of threats that they kind of just tossed away.
Yes.
And if they bring that back, that could be really cool.
Mikey.
Ideas, I got them. So here's my idea, right? The reason that they bring back the dark matter thread line in Andromeda is because Andromeda is now 600 years older. Meaning that the heat death is getting closer, meaning that they need to figure out how to fix it. The Scourge could be a possible, let's say, after effect of the closing death for a reason. You know, it could be something that that all this radiation and all this dark matter just being condensed has produced. You know, sort of like diamonds and coal. You know, you condense it enough, next you know, you got diamond. That's what I could see them doing, and I think it would work, and it would be a very interesting thing. Of like, the Archon isn't really all that interested in killing you; he just wants to save his galaxy.
Well, the heat death may not have been to the heat death, but the dark matter was accelerating the death of a sun. So
yes,
I like what I heard was that the ending with the dark matter and the EZO causing the dark matter, that was bad because it was like killing stars, and that eventually the dark matter would spread like a virus and just a Milky Way and cause everything to like die. That was like the original plan or something. But I don't know. And it may not be dark matter. There's also some evidence that it could be like stardust or galactic. I forgot what it's called, but interstellar clouds. Because
Yeah.
the way it behaves in like the cinematic trailer, it's a thick cloud that acts like a solid but isn't. And if you make it out of hydrogen or get that thing compressed together, it starts heating up like in a star. It could like explode like seen in the
It's very
trailer,
much like
so-
it's very much like the star clouds that form stars originally.
Or as
In
Gary
the way
put it,
yeah,
it's-
astronomy and all that junk.
Yeah,
So-
As
I
I
agree.
said,
Like,
it's
yeah,
a big
it does like seem very similar to like those. Like after a star explodes, they form these clouds that then form a new star.
I mean, it could also be
Yeah.
a reason as to why the Archon is just being like, the heat death is coming. Can't you see? Please stop fucking around with my planets. Leave my people be. That's what I could say. And if I got
Can
it
I-
right, I'm totally taking credit for it. I don't care how angry people get at me.
Or maybe we're just being way too intelligent for BioWare, and it's just like, no, you invade us, let us kill you because you are evil.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
could-
you know,
I
That
mean,
leads
sometimes,
nicely
you know,
to my prediction.
keeping it simple works. Let's be honest here. You
Do-
know, after all this high convoluted stuff in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, maybe going for a simple plotline
right.
wouldn't
Why
be a bad
not,
idea.
right?
I do want to hear from some of the other folks who haven't been talking as much, been able to talk as much. So Alex or Kiwi or Shay or Gary, if you guys have any thoughts.
Actually, you know what? Let's shoot these speculations straight into crazy territory.
Okay.
Because we see Gary in chat here. So Scorch equals galactic red lyrium. Let's one up. Gaseous / energy-based life forms.
That would be. I would love that. That would be really interesting. Huh. Gaseous or energy-based life forms would be really cool, actually.
So basically, what
Taking
they're
it-
there for is like it's another heat death thing because they're there to suck the energy out of all these stars, causing them to die. Instead of being a
There
heat
you
death,
go.
it's
There
a
you go.
galactic
Maybe they need
ice
this.
age
Maybe they
instead.
need this to live, you know, and
Yes.
kind of
basically-
like star devourers, because we need this to live. So sorry, but we kind of gotta kill your stars and
Yes.
planets.
It's
Yeah,
galactical. It's galactical climate change.
Yeah, next thing you know, this galactic ice age, everything is frozen solid, and then they die because they couldn't create their own energy.
Yes. Gary
Or
says.
it's like a thing where they get too big to feed themselves. Next thing you know, they die out anyway.
Gary says transformative living energy.
That could be it.
Interesting. I see that.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Basically, a force of nature.
Yeah, yes, yes.
all
I'm
between-
not very good at finding theories or, well, I say I'm not really good at it, but I just have no idea right now. I'm gonna let sort of the game surprise me when I get to it, because last time I tried to theorize things with my friend, we sort of guessed Solus was.
Don't give any
sort of
spoilers.
guessed-
Solus.
Of course, we sort of guessed. We didn't just guess that Solus did something. We just totally guessed that.
Right.
We just guessed the goddamn plot of the game. That was.
Gary says transformative living energy. I'm pretty sure it's all overthinking, theorizing now. Teehee, space fade. The space fade. Ooh. That's cool, actually.
Or maybe maybe we'll finally find out that wait, what's it called? The Dragon Age world is
Thetis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thetis is a planet in Andromeda.
In Andromeda.
Dun, dun.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, Gary, like, regardless of whether this ends up being true or not, you're giving me a lot of ideas for Mass Effect Season 2. But,
Yes.
Yeah, this could be actually pretty cool.
I might say, I won't lie, I might say even Pokemon. Pokemon's not my favorite thing. So, you know, it would be interesting to see them bring the Fade into the Mass Effect universe and to see how they managed to do all this.
I'd like them to
Hard.
just keep it separate.
Actually, a lot of people have been theorizing that Thetis is Mass Effect after everything goes to shit.
Ah, interesting.
I
That'd be
mean,
interesting.
the whole magic thing
All of
in
these new
Dragon
races that
Age.
exist, like elves and all those kind of things, are just mutations of humans because of radiation and stuff.
Right?
Oh.
And
The
like
whole-
the not Quarian, what are they called? The Kunyari.
The
They
Kunyari, yes.
they have invented gunpowder where none of the others have, and like humans have invented gunpowder in our universe. So maybe they've just retained a little bit of old knowledge.
Gary says it is 600 years apart. The demons, I guess, from Dragon Age, the demons are the Scourge incarnate. Maybe.
Possibly. Who knows?
Very cool theories here.
This is sounding a lot like Pixar at this point.
You know what? I can't help but think this is just going to turn into one giant conspiracy theory. We all grab our tinfoil hats and pull them on really quick.
Yeah, it's just
Hark
jot down
puts
notes.
down his SR2 hat and pulls on a tinfoil version instead.
Park's
You
multiverse
need to
theory
do
is
that for these
confirmed.
plotline discussions from now on, Hark.
Yes.
You need to make that. That would be great.
We find out that Mass Effect Andromeda is actually just Shepard on an acid trip in a bar on Omega.
Why the hell not? I mean,
No,
I've
it turns out
I've seen
Andromeda is like
crazier
galaxy
stuff
size,
happen in
a
games.
tiny little speck of dust on a Reaper. Just like this tiny little speck of dust just what's created this galaxy.
Other thoughts on the story or predictions before we start to move to a close?
Can I give my giant prediction?
Okay, and then Mark can go after you. Go ahead. Give your
Okay.
giant prediction.
So my giant prediction is that we start the game fighting Archon. We follow him through the end, or something like that. But after Archon is defeated, the Scourge will still be there. Aaron is like, huh, what's that doing? And then we don't know anymore. But here is the plot twist of the entire series. The real bad guy is Alex Ryder.
Wow.
And
Which is
Sam,
the writer's father. Go ahead.
Ryder's father.
Writer's father.
And Sam's is his tool of controlling his people, his squad.
Oh.
Wow.
Like when the Ryder twins are like, kill the what are they again? The Ragna.
The Ket?
No, the lion.
The Angara.
Oh, the Angara.
The Angara. He's like, there's no other planet. We need a planet, so we're taking theirs. And the Ryder twins are like, no, that's bad. No. But before you can fight, he's like, this isn't up for debate. Boom, flip switch, and Sam's takes control of his crew, and it like devolves into like a fight or something.
That would be a cool twist.
But yeah, that's my big plot.
That would be a really cool twist. I would like that if that did happen.
Because again, we're like the Europeans coming into the Native Americans, taking land and junk like that.
Mikey?
So here's one that I don't think we discussed. You only have 6 crew members, right? But there are romanceable options that are just around the crew and in the galaxy in general. Strange. What do you guys think of that? Just random people that you can walk up and talk to, and next thing you know, hey, we're having sex.
I mean, just like real life, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a regular Saturday night out.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. But like,
I mean, like after a few drinks, anyone is sexy.
I mean,
this is true.
Yes,
I mean,
this is basically how the Saturday night goes. You know, you go to the bar, you find the ugliest person there, and the moment they start to look okay, it's time to leave.
Wow.
But no, I like this new edition of being able to find people that aren't just in your crew or your squad. They're just out in the galaxy. That's pretty cool. That's nice to actually have. Space
Gary?
Tinder, yeah, basically you walk into a hub world and next thing you know, hey, there's this one person that you like.
Gary says the elusive man, Alec Ryder, Space Tinder?
Well,
I mean, that's
Space
how it would
Tinder!
work, right?
Well, from what I understand, there was this whole rumor about Cerberus was planning the Andromeda initiative.
Yeah.
So maybe
Right.
Alec Ryder is related to the elusive man, and there also is a rumor that Harper is actually the elusive man daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
We mentioned that before about
Yeah,
Cora
we did.
Harper sharing the same last name as the elusive man. Yes.
Him.
Not that Harper is a fairly uncommon name, but yeah.
I would hope that they would. I would hope that if they gave Cora that last name, I would hope that it would have some significance. So,
Yeah.
Of all the last names they could have given her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we'll
It'll
see
be
though.
very interesting to see, yeah, because like I can't imagine that they'll do this like without tying it in some way to the other games. So it will be interesting, especially considering that Cerberus has been kind of the main villain of especially the third game, a main villain, and like while they helped you in 2, they were still kind of a villain, and they were a side villain in the first. So it's like it's this villainous organization that's been there all the way, in the same way the Reapers have. So like while the Reapers story was ended in 3, Cerberus wasn't necessarily. So
it would be interesting.
This is a very tiny story detail that I just really like about Mass Effect Andromeda is the fact that your sibling is still in the story. So it's not just isn't just a male writer or a female writer like it was with your Shepard. Even if whichever writer you choose, the other sibling is still there and part of the story, even though he or she is not necessarily in your squad. There isn't a story explanation as to why that person isn't available to be in your squad. I'm hoping eventually they could be in your squad. So I'm thinking that just because they gave us the original 6 roster, I'm guessing there's probably at least one more slot that hasn't been announced yet.
Or 2 maybe.
Or 2 maybe.
8's a nice number. But yeah, like it's kind of like Dragon Age 2, in which you can have a brother and sister, but one of them will die depending on the gender you pick.
No, depending on the class.
Oh, the class. All right. Yeah.
If you are a
yes,
if
Dragon
you're a
Age
mage,
spoiler.
Dragon Age spoiler. If you choose a mage in Dragon Age 2, the sister dies. If you play a mage, the sister dies.
Yeah. If you play a warrior, the brother dies. But like it's
warrior.
a case of you always have a sibling, but it entirely depends on what class you pick.
Yeah. This way, the sibling just stays around, and at least as far as we know, they stay around enough for you to interact with them at some point. But we don't know how much of a role they'll play. But we'll know they'll still exist.
I wouldn't be surprised if they keep the 6 squad mates, because 6 is the same number of squad mates you had in Mass Effect 1. So that would probably be a nice little callback to that game. In that sense, like mechanically at least.
I would find it
Vetra, because she's apparently an older lady, so she's also a very tall lady at 6'5".
I would find it super cool if, since we were talking about Alec Ryder secretly being the bad guy, I would think it'd be really cool if your sibling ends up being the bad guy. I think that would be an interesting twist.
Maybe your sibling joins with your daddy.
Or maybe your sibling joins with your daddy as the bad guys. I don't know. That would be really interesting.
That would be definitely an interesting way to like spark the second game. Like you defeat Archon, or like Archon falls, and you're like, okay, so what next? And maybe next game Archon could be a companion if you don't kill him. Maybe that's an option too.
Maybe
instead of killing him, you let him live, and then the next game you're like, hey, I'll work with you, and there's like this friend, enemy of my enemy relationship there.
Maybe the reason the cat and the Archon hates you is because Alec Ryder has come and shown that the invaders are evil.
That's true. Gary says, I thought the same thing. The sibling is there to act as a direct antagonist revealed. It's a constant presence with strong ties to the MC, to the main character. That would be cool.
I mean, I could see this happening. This would be actually a really cool plot twist. Like, I don't know, like maybe just having them start out in a normal kind of relationship, kind of just doing the first portions of the game together, but somewhere along the way, there's this falling out or something,
Mhm.
and one of the siblings just strays away,
Mm.
and eventually they just, karma's a bitch and comes back to bite you in the ass or shoot you in the back.
Well, from what I've seen of like the very first cinematic trailers and stuff, there is an explosion, sort of maroon planet with your sibling, so that could be the very start of the game. You could have your
Interesting.
sibling in your squad at the start of the game, and you have to
That's
find a
true.
way back to the Ark.
It could be like how you have Anderson in your squad at the start of 3.
Mm.
Yeah. He was there for all of 10 minutes, and then we don't see him for like the entirety of the game.
Yeah, well, he wasn't important anyway.
This is true.
Shivasa, is your microphone still not working? I know that you've been hanging out with us, but
Yeah.
I thought it was working before.
Hey! Yeah, there it is. We can hear you.
Yeah, the microphone was working. The thing that doesn't work is my camera for some reason.
Okay.
I'm using my laptop now, so
We can hear you. So, do you have anything to say about the story?
I was thinking this could be something like the first contact war with the Turians, where they didn't understand each other, so they had a war between them just because they were.
Right. The first contact war with the Turians is what he was talking about, since the Turians, that was when the humans ended up discovering, basically that we're not alone, and started infringing on the Turians, and the Turians were like, who are these people? What are these humans doing here? And that's what started the contact war. So there's a lot of similarities, I think, is what he's saying with Andromeda.
And it all ended with a giant orgy, and we all got along again.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it would be nice for the change. Maybe there is not bad guy in the game, so
that I think
is like depending on the planet you're on, like because that is the thing that I remember them saying, that like there are some plot lines that go from planet to planet, but there are mostly planetarily so there's that.
Just looking ahead a little bit, because I think it's being implied that, of course, the series will continue after Andromeda. Would you, again, I know that we haven't played the game yet, but would you like to see this Ryder character continue into another game, or do you think that they should start having a different main character each game, just like they do in the Dragon Age series? In the Dragon Age series, you have a new hero each game. What are your thoughts on that? I guess Mark, then Malik, then Mikey.
Well, from what I've heard from the BioWare developers is that the story of Ryder in the first Andromeda game, it's just basically its own story from beginning to end, going from zero to hero, that sort of story. But I'm thinking, like, if BioWare is going to continue with Mass Effect Andromeda, we might get something that Dragon Age has been doing, like we get a brand new character, and possibly Ryder will come in as a cameo. That's my thoughts on it. Anyway.
Malik?
From what I've heard, the Andromeda game is supposed to be like a self-contained story about Ryder.
Sure.
In the sense that once Andromeda is over, technically Ryder's story could be over as well. Depending on how the game goes, that's going to determine whether or not I'd like the Ryder character to carry over, because like sometimes it works well with a character carrying over and sometimes it don't. And like I gotta say, I was disappointed that the Warden just kind of disappeared after Awakening. So like I would like to have like when you get so connected to a character, I would like at least the potential of them to return. So it all depends on how the story will unfold for me.
Mikey?
To bring up Malik's point really quick, in Dragon Age 2 and in Dragon Age Inquisition, you can have some references to the Warden, especially if your Warden romanced either Anderson. Not Anderson. It's not Anders, is it? No.
You're talking about Anders?
The King.
Alistair.
Alistair?
Alistair. Yeah, if you romance Alistair or if you romance Liliana, either of those two, there can be a lot of references to the Warden, but it's more a case of they're off doing something. They're literally off trying to find like the cure for the blight or whatever that they have in their system. From Mass Effect Andromeda is something similar to Dragon Age in the sense that if they want to stop Ryder's story or if they want to focus on someone else's story in the Andromeda Galaxy, because it is a massive galaxy with lots of different arcs in it that we probably won't see everything involved in it. You could literally go, okay, here's Mass Effect Andromeda Ryder. Here's Mass Effect Andromeda Turian character, Mass Effect Andromeda Solarian character, Mass Effect Andromeda Asari character. You could do that because you could literally have 4 different perspectives and you could see how certain things affect those 4 in the sense that what you do in your Ryder, what you do in your Turian, and what you do in say your Asari game will affect your Solarian and vice versa. But personally, I've always thought as Mass Effect Andromeda as a more linear style, one character over a span. But at the same time, I wouldn't say no to a different character. Mix things up a bit. Maybe you flip flop between the brother and sister. First game you play male Ryder, second game female Ryder, or vice versa, or you can play the same if you want to. I think that'll be interesting.
Gary says, for me, it depends on how invested they craft my experience with the Ryder character.
Yeah, I agree with this one actually the most, because if he would happen to be a recurring character, I wouldn't want this if my first impression or my impression with him in the first game was, well, shit. Because I had games or game series which had the recurring characters, and like after playing the first game, I played the second, I was like, oh my god, not that cunt again.
Yeah. I can understand that, but like at the same time, it's more a writer is more you than anything else. It's very hard to like. It's more understandable in like single player games where the lines are written for you and you're just playing through this character's eyes to experience that. But since you get to choose what your writer says, it's less likely you'll have that experience. But
so yeah,
I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah, as long as they have the actual dialogue options, I can. I can see myself saying in the given situation, yes, but then again, we're talking about BioWare, so there shouldn't be a problem with that. They are known for that, pretty much.
We talked very.
I would also.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. It was just a little thing about I'd like to see really good side characters too. I want to be able to.
Yes. Also, BioWare, I still want a romanceable Varric. Make it happen.
Yes.
Yes. A romanceable Varric.
In Dragon Age 4, please.
Yes. What I was going to say is that in our second open mic hangout for Mass Effect Andromeda, we spoke at great lengths about the dialogue system, and Malik was very verbal about his thoughts on the dialogue system.
I think Malik and David were very verbal on our opinions, as was Anna. Yes.
So if you want to go and look at our insight on that, you can check out the second installment. I don't want to repeat things that's already been talked about in previous
on the
videos.
screen and hard points to somewhere on the screen.
Anything else about the story before I move towards closing? Yes, Malik.
I wanted to say one final bit about the Ryder character. If they do make a return in later games, I don't want it to be like when the champion, when Hawk returns in Inquisition. Spoilers. Because they take control away from you on Hawk, and thus a Hawk is no longer your character. I felt disconnected from Hawk in like as much as I love my Hawk, it didn't feel like my Hawk.
Yeah.
In Inquisition.
It's the same for me because
and
we have a Hawk.
Let Kiwi finish. Go ahead, Kiwi.
Because we have a Hawk that talks about blood magic. That's like, oh, blood magic is evil. We shouldn't use it. But my Hawk was a blood mage. Like, he would never say things like that.
My Hawk was a blood mage, and they were actively doing the dirty with the other blood mage in the team.
Yes. Mikey, go ahead.
Actively doing the dirty. But yeah, there is one thing about that whole Hawk in Inquisition, and this is another minor spoiler. You can decide to kill him or her, depending on what you want to do, as an option. So instead of killing off the Grey Warden, you can no, sorry, not the Grey Warden, the Grey Warden there, not the Grey Warden, a Grey
A
Warden,
Grey
that
Warden.
accompanied
A Grey
you-
Warden.
yeah,
Which can
a
be
Grey Warden
Logain.
that has accompanied you into the
Yeah.
It can be Logain.
Yeah.
Which makes it
Yeah.
even more. Yeah, let's kill him.
yeah.
Yes.
You can
Yeah,
literally just,
mine died.
go. You can literally kill off your own Hawk, which I did because I didn't really like Hawk as a character. Didn't feel that attached to him. But be up to a case of you can kill Hawk, and that's your decision. You can decide I don't like this character, or I think Hawk would do this. That's the only control you have over Hawk in that entire section of talking with. Or her.
And
You
and
decide
I
to Blizzard Eyes.
I've said many times in other videos that I think the solution to that, if we go to a different character after this one in Andromeda, and really this goes for the Dragon Age series too, is that if, you know, Ryder makes a cameo in the next game, let us actually choose what that writer says. Like, sure, it's our, let us actually decide what writer will give us a dialogue wheel for Ryder in addition to our current character, because that way you can define and say, this is what my writer would have said. Even if you never played this Mass Effect Andromeda game, then you could opt to just go to a default, like have the default writer say whatever it is. But if you've actually played this game, then I want you to be able to choose what your writer would say. That's my solution, I think, to that.
Yes. Please, we need to make sure that Ryder does say what we want him or her to say.
Correct.
Because when I was looking through, like for instance, your Let's Play of Dragon Age Inquisition Heart,
Mhm.
I know that you said, and I know you said clearly, like, you're a freaking blood mage! And I'm like, yeah, that's what would happen to me if I were to play Dragon Age 2 and go for a blood mage.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that if they were going to make a sequel, maybe
Yeah.
that there's a possibility that we could be able to have our writer say what we believe
Yeah.
our writer would say.
I don't think it's
And
hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
That shouldn't be hard to do.
Should be easy. BioWare, come on.
Yeah. Malika, go ahead. I'm saying
think,
that as a programmer too, by the way. So
I think the biggest problem is that BioWare don't see the main character as the player's character. They see it as their character. It was most visible with Shepard in Mass Effect 3, with how many of the player choices that were kind of taken away from you in that, and whereas you're just kind of there for the ride, where in the two previous games you had actually been playing your Shepard. And they even stated themselves that they were surprised how invested players had been in this character that they had been playing at that time for like several years. So it's like, okay, this character has existed for like 5 years maybe, and you're surprised that your players have connected to their unique version of it. That's kind of something you should have been expecting.
I'm shocked that I'm shocked that was somebody in BioWare's reaction. Was that some one person's opinion, or did it seem like a lot of people in BioWare thought that? Because I'd be surprised if that was the
think
case.
it was like the head writer of 3 at the end.
That is
I'm not entirely.
shocking.
Don't quote me on this. I'm not entirely sure, but it was stated from someone in BioWare.
Okay.
That they were surprised that people were actually this closely connected to their Shepard.
I would be.
Wouldn't you hope for that in a case? Because that's kind of the whole point of the Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah, but like, what if you take a look back? It's like take a step back and look at the Mass Effect trilogy. It's very interesting because Shepard is a very established character before the player even takes control.
Yeah.
So it's like basically you are kind of you're influencing slightly the character that BioWare had already set up, rather than taking a blank slate character like you kind of can in the Dragon Age series.
Yeah, like because when you meet Shepard, he or she already a career military person, already a lieutenant commander, already had a history, already had family, already had friends. Everyone knew who he or she because he or she was already practically a specter by the time you met them.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be able to not have that problem, because they're specifically making Ryder a coming of age. Like Ryder's, everybody in the crew is supposedly younger or greener than in the Mass Effect series. So hopefully, you'll have more.
Also, you're not playing a soldier. You're not playing a career soldier. You're playing you're playing a scientist, I guess.
Scientist and a recruit soldier. Yeah.
You're playing someone who's just like a general mix of everything. But from what I can understand from what Ryder is, I remember in the crew introduction video that both of the Ryder's positions were recruits, meaning they were fresh off of tours, getting used to using guns, wearing armor, and being in space. Meaning this is literally them being thrust into the fire.
But then they give you a ship and you command it.
No, you don't command it. Your
You
father
don't
does.
command it yet.
Oh.
Your dad.
Your dad
does.
It's kind of like in Inquisition. It's not until after you get to Skyhold that you become the Inquisitor. And before that, you're just part of the Inquisition.
Yeah.
Up
until that point, you were the figurehead, but you weren't technically a figurehead. You were just that guy.
You're just part of it.
You were that guy that did the thing.
Yeah. I think there's going to be some sort of progression, and
there's going to be something similar to that. I can't think of anything else, because else it wouldn't make sense that you get control over the ship in the way that you seemingly do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It does seem like a massive trial by fire, which I do approve of.
To go back to the future of the Andromeda games, I really hope we do get to play aliens at some point, because that's something we have been. I think ever since Mass Effect 2, it's something many other players have wanted, and
I know.
Play a Turian, or there are a lot of races we could play.
I know that.
Actually,
I know that many of I'm not sure if it's the writers or the developers of BioWare have been very stubborn about that, because they have said that they realize a lot of players are asking for having other races other than humans as playable characters, like in Dragon Age. But I think their argument is that they're trying to tell a very specific story that's very personal. And because we are humans, the consumers are humans, they felt like it would be more personal if our antagonist was also a human as well. However, protagonist, excuse me. However, I kind of am like, well, then make the next story like something that might be personal from another race, from another alien's point of view. I don't think you have to settle for. I don't think you have to settle for that necessarily, because I think it would be so cool to be able to. You can tell a lot of stories by being a completely different race, and you learn more about that race.
It's like saying that men can't play Bayonetta because they aren't women, in a way.
Yeah, in a way. Mikey? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, the way that I'm going to look at this whole situation is that it's like you can look at it this way, right? I'm assuming everyone here, bar the versions of Mass Effect, have played the Mass Effect 3 DLC, the Omega DLC.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I have, in my entire life of playing Mass Effect, have attached myself more to the Turians than I have towards the humans, just because they remind me a lot of myself, because they put everyone else first. They're very they have that
honor.
Government again. It's the military. The higher rank you are, the higher you are in the government. So an autocracy. That's it. They're an autocracy. They have this selflessness about them that I respect immensely, and I would love to play a Turian. It's why I love Vectra so much. It's like Vectra is Bay. I don't care how tall she is. She is Bay. So that's as far as I'm concerned here. I'd like to see different races because it gives us new perspective, and it doesn't matter if they're not human. You can always empathize and just generally know other sentient creatures. It doesn't matter what they are, as long as you know they're sentient and you can communicate with them, it's more than likely you will be able to empathize or feel for them.
For lack of a better word, they feel human.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Like
Yeah.
relatable.
Emotions are emotions.
In
Basically.
many sense of the word human is just about intelligent people rather than
Yeah.
people that look like us.
Right.
Mhm.
Basically, to argue with the writers or the developers, you've shown that you can make these other alien races. You've shown you can make us relate to them. So that should not stop you then from allowing the next main protagonist to be a different race. Just throwing it out there.
I can't help but think, like, if people didn't relate to these other species, why would they want to sex them so much?
This is also
Like,
true.
That's true.
didn't want at
This
first.
is true.
Yeah,
I
but,
mean,
like,
I'm pretty sure that most of the reason people wanted to sex Turian is because Turians are sexy. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You can understand them. You understand where they're coming from, and I know some people didn't see Garrus as like a love interest, but if every time I played a female shepherd, he was my first decision because.
But yeah, but I mean, like,
individual-
the reason why you find Garrus so sexy, I can't help it. It's because he's so relatable as a character, not because he's an
It
alien.
doesn't matter what he looks like, and let's be honest, Brandon Keener's voice is
well, that doesn't.
voice
That
just
yeah,
it helps. It helps. That helps
sexy,
immensely,
yeah.
but still.
I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Also,
like
Brandon
his
is,
voice alone carries Fallout 4 by being everywhere in that game.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
He's everywhere.
I mean,
It's
and
great.
projecting this on the Dragon Age Inquisition specifically, I mean, yes, Colin is Bay, but guys, Tib, okay?
What?
The Iron Bull. Tib, the Iron Bull.
Yes.
Guys,
Oh,
I
right.
actually, he
Yes.
was actually
I mean,
my
we all know
choice.
Harkenjoy is riding the Iron Bull, so.
I mean, I actually went for a dwarf inquisitor, and I romanced Tib.
Yes.
I mean,
So did
like,
So did I.
Bull's sex scene is also the best in the
It's so
entire game
good.
series.
It's so hilarious.
Yes.
Oh my god, what is that thing?
I
Okay,
cannot
yeah.
move my legs. Yes. Anyway, moving on. Gary says, just so I can make sure he gets in here, Gary says, from a narrative sense, aren't the aliens a fantastical, super idealized version of aspects of humanity anyway? If it was two aliens, then we might not even relate, get it maybe. It's just a little fearful of the writers to take the risk of alienating the potential human player.
Okay.
Gary says.
Okay, that's true.
It makes some amount of
That's a
sense.
good point,
in the sense
yeah.
that, it's a game, it's a company, you gotta make money, but I'd like to see more.
I
I'd
mean,
like to see more
technically,
options.
with how many fans the entire series have, I mean, they would make money regardless. Let's
Well,
be honest here.
it only happened for so long because it's not like it's Call of Duty where everyone buys it for their 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
True.
After a few bad games, they would just disappear off the streets. Like BioWare would probably be dissolved, or Mass Effect would never appear again, and maybe 10 years down the line, you might hear a little bit about it, but up until then, it might just vanish.
As it stands, it's a massive game. So.
Yes.
Okay. So, does anyone have any final thoughts before I start to close? Because we've been going for a while, but if there's any other last minute things. Okay.
Don't be surprised if Andromeda sucks, but it'll probably be good.
Okay.
Malik needs eternal optimism.
Thank you for the optimism.
Yeah. Thanks.
So,
Love you, Malik.
all right.
Don't worry. We'll keep you around a little bit longer.
We'll keep you around. Okay, so for those of you who have hung out with us this entire time, thank you so much. Even if you only joined us for a part of the video, we appreciate you guys spending time. Hopefully you've learned a few interesting things, maybe a few things that you didn't know going into this video. Thank you again to everybody who participated in the panels. I'm super excited. And yes, if people were wondering, I am going to be Let's Playing this game very soon.
It's going to be fun to watch you play it around.
Yes.
Hashtag shameless plug on the 23rd of March where it releases in Europe. I will be doing a 12-hour stream.
Ooh, awesome.
Oh,
Are you going
nice.
to finish? Are you going to finish the third one before you start? with the next one?
Am I going to finish
Well,
the third one before I say? Was that a question? Based on the schedule, it's looking like just because of the rate that I'm releasing videos, it unfortunately doesn't look like I'll be able to finish the third one. I probably will barely be able to finish the second one by the time the third one comes out.
You've already played the third one.
Yeah, I've already played the third one, so I'm not prioritizing the third one this moment. I do plan on replaying it eventually in a Let's Play, but Andromeda definitely, when it comes out, is going to be the priority. So Andromeda
Shameless
will be
plug.
yes, but
Shameless
that does.
plug from me.
You're going to be playing it as well.
No, but I've been streaming Mass Effect, my playthroughs of Mass Effect, and I'm currently on Mass Effect 3, and I might be streaming it at some later point. Twitch.tv/DarkElfThemes.com.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Shirley Only Mikey, SURLYONLYMIK.
I'll try to put all of your links in the description below. So,
And one more shameless plug here.
okay.
For those who are asking if I'm going to be playing Mass Effect Andromeda on my YouTube channel, there's a possibility because I want to try and get Mass Effect 1 and 2 done, and then I'll play Andromeda. Who knows? It just
Also,
depends on my time.
That's a good point here as well. Mass Effect 3, because it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Just point it out there.
All right. Cool. All right, guys. So thank you again for joining us, and I will hopefully see you guys when the game actually releases. So until then,
fun.
Until then, everybody, love yourselves and love each other. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Especially love Hark, because he needs it. He deserves it.
I need love.